infiltration trenches, constructed wetland, permeable pavement, etc. And green component includes parks, urban forest, green corridors, green roofs, riparian buffer. So today this paper from evidence to theory shows how blue-green infrastructure work as an empirical framework for the sustainable urban design. So let's proceed with the presentation. Okay. So how architectural theory is built? Historically, it has swung between practice and philosophy, often lacking the systemic empirical basis that science requires. The strongest theories come from the observation, measurement, pattern recognition across many cases and contexts, and not from the abstract idea. So, empirical theory building follows the five steps: observe the phenomena, collect the data, identify patterns, develop a theoretical framework, translate that framework into actionable design principles. So, blue green infrastructure is a perfect study because all the five stages can be studied in a global literature. Next. So, the observation that triggered the BGI research is a straightforward. The urban flooding is getting worse everywhere, and three pressures drive this: climate change, intensifying rainfall, rapid urbanization, replacing permeable surfaces with the concrete, aging grey infrastructure, which is falling short for the today's hydrological demands. So study after study shows gray infrastructure failure, and BGI emerges not as a replacement but the theoretically grounded component addressing it is a complementary and addressing the performance gap that gray infrastructure leaves open. Next. So this framework maps the five stages of empirical knowledge building with the BGI research. Stage one, that is observation, documenting the flood events, gray infrastructure failures. Stage two is a data collection, hydrological monitoring, water quality analysis, biodiversity, cost benefit studies. Stage three is a pattern recognition, where the statistical and meta-analysis across the studies observed. And the stage four is a theory development, integrating these patterns with the hydrological and ecological principles. And stage five is a translation, converting the theory into design guidelines and that practitioner can use. So this model transform architecture from intuitive practice to an evidence-based discipline. Next. This evidence base come from a systematic review following the PRISMA 2020 guidelines, which is considered as a gold standard for systematic review. The PRISMA stand for Preferred Reporting Items for Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis. So I searched on a Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar using the keyword like blue-green infrastructure, nature-based solution, urban flood management, sustainable urban drainage, etc. So total 1042 papers were found, and after removing the duplication and unwanted results, the 328 unique full text papers are studied. So the final synthesis covers 328 peer-reviewed global studies from 47 countries and across the 6 continents, published during 2015 to July 2025. Next. Out of all empirical studies, 46% use the modeling and simulation, 24% are case studies, 19% are field monitoring studies, 11% are laboratory experiments. So this methodological diversity strengthens the evidence base. The critical observation is all four study types are absent from Indian context. That doesn't mean no research has been done in India, but the BGI studies in India are limited to the theoretical understanding, application possibilities, and policy framework analysis, etc. Next. So, on an average, 30 studies annually shows the field maturation. So, BGI research peaked in 2020 at around 52 studies. There is a downward curve at a 25 as a data collection is done till July 2025. One line on this chart does not move is India's contribution. It is persistent and structural absence. Next. So, the United States accounts for around 46% of all studies. Europe contributes to 29%, China to around 15%, Southeast Asia, excluding India, 6%, Latin America and Australia, 1.5% each. This matters theoretically and practically. The framework built from this evidence reflects the temperate climate. So, the rainfall patterns, soil, urban forms are very different from India's monsoon cities. Still, Indian practitioners have no choice but to use theory uh, built on that data, which was never collected in condition like ours. Next. So here is where the theory concretely emerges from evidence. Across the hundreds of studies, the performance ranges are documented. The study shows green roofs reduce the rainfall by 16 to 85%. Bioretention system reduce the runoff by 40 to 80%. Peak flow reduction is from 33 to 95%. The constructed wetlands reduce the runoff by 45 to 70%. Permeable pavement shows the infiltration rates that ranges from 10 to 100 times higher than the conventional surface, which basically rejects the 100% of surface water. So these are not estimates; they are measured ranges documented across the real projects worldwide. The architects can decide based on the documented performance, not on the assumptions. Next. The evidence also maps the relationship between the complexity and flood reduction performance. The high complexity systems like constructed wetlands, bioretention ponds deliver superior results but need the technical expertise and higher investment. The low complexity systems like rain gardens, permeable pavements are more accessible and ideal for where the institutional capacity is limited. The most effective implementation combine the high performance anchor system with the distributed low capacity interventions. Like green roof and bioswales are shown in the figure but still not there in the ideal zone. Next. Beyond the flood control, BGI delivers various co-benefits which are systematically documented across the studies. The water quality improvement by the pollutant removal, 40 to 99% for suspended solids and 30 to 95% for heavy metals. The urban heat mitigation, where the green roofs cool the surface by 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, and wetlands create a cooling zone up to 200 meters. So, biodiversity also increases where BGI is implemented. The health benefits were reduced stress, better mental health, greater community cohesion is documented in 50 plus studies. And economic benefits include 5 to 20% increase in the property value and flood damage prevention. So these co-benefits transform BGI from drainage solution into comprehensive urban design philosophy. Next. So empirical patterns translate into eight design principle. Principle one is a multi-scale integration that coordinates BGI across site, neighborhood, and city scales. Principle two, where the performance parameter is optimization, where the use the empirically derived specification, be it the maximum surface area, adequate soil depth, or climate specific native vegetation. And the principle three, systematic multifunctionality, the design every BGI element to deliver the water quality, heat mitigation, biodiversity, and other co-benefits. And principle four, the context responsive design, where the local climate, soil, urban form is considered. Next, principle 5, integrated maintenance planning. So specify the maintenance from the outset, because the most common failure mode is a neglected upkeep. Principle 6 is strategic location, targeting GIS analysis and hydrological modeling, and should identify the upstream catchment flow paths and overflow points where the BGI delivers the maximum impact. Principle 7, connected special configuration. The connected networks outperform the isolated of equal area. And the principle 8, the phased deployment can begin with a visible demonstration projects, scale strategically, then embed the BGI into standard development practice. So the implementation ease ranking shows the rain garden, green roofs can be the entry point for the implementation. Next. So this is most critical finding in the empirical study of a BGI. India has a 1.4 billion population, 500 million urban residents, and cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune experience severe flooding every year. So monsoon intensity reaches around 100 to 300 mm per day. Climate projections points towards the worst flooding ahead. And India's contribution is 0% to the global quantitative BGI research. So Indian practitioners have to depend on the theory built entirely on the temperate climate data, and it is not a minor inconvenience. It shows the fundamental failure of the empirical knowledge production. Next. So this paper proposes a priority framework organized by the urgency and the impact, where the high urgency is a existing BGI performance monitoring under the monsoon condition, adaptation of a bioretention and a wetland design, where there is a high intensity or rainfall in a short duration, and the native vegetation criteria for the tropical urban context. In the medium urgency, there is a governance framework for the Indian urban planning, economic analysis in Indian context, and the community co-benefit assessment. What needed is an investment and institutional will to apply the method systematically. Next. So, three takeaways to close. The first is a method. This paper demonstrates the complete arc of a empirical theory building in architecture, where the observation, data collection, pattern recognition, framework development, and design translation is there. So, BGI is a model how the discipline should build the knowledge. Second is a paradigm shift where BGI reconceptualizes the stormwater from a problem to a design opportunity, integrating water management into urban form to simultaneously deliver the flood resilience, environmental quality, and human well-being. Third is a responsibility. So India's absence from the evidence base is a call for the action for researchers and practitioners. And the methodological template is clear, the urgent need is clear, and we need to act upon it. Next two slides are for the references. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Architect Pragya More, for the presentation. I will invite Dr. Dakshayani Patil for her expert review first.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So it was a very nice presentation, very empirically strengthened. You have pointed out, you've taken care to sectorize the research paper in a very structured manner. Congrats to you, and a very impending issue in the current times as well. A little question from my side regarding the research inquiry in the Indian context. So can you remind me of what gap have you addressed?
It's about the empirical data collected from the research. Like I said, more of a understanding of theoretical framework is going on. But I will tell you that earlier this year, I have found one research paper where the before after effect of the BGI is also studied in terms of a number, uh, which is done by Vedanti Kerkar for Mumbai area. She's from university from Germany, but that is a kind of only research paper which talks in the number about the efficacy of blue green infrastructure.
The point is, you pointed out that 328 peer reviewed,
Yeah.
and your study is fundamentally based on those.
Yes.
So, how can we substantiate the Indian gap based on non-Indian sources?
Uh,
Is the query.
yes, ma'am. Actually, that shows we need a data for our context. And although the BGI is not actively implemented, it is implemented in parts and pieces. But the field monitoring studies or the simulation or modeling studies can definitely help in our considering our climatic conditions and our local conditions. We can see the effect of it before implementing it.
So we are looking at the structural attributes to research. Was the softer side, the cultural and the contextual relevance, which is very different in India, was
Yes.
a point of consideration, or was it identified as a gap or limitation, probably?
Actually, ma'am, what gap I have identified is based on the number. There are a number of different aspects, like qualitative aspects, are
Yes.
also involved in there. But for the evidences, we need to have some kind of back data in terms of a number before at least implementing or thinking to implement that. And
Totally. But only I am concerned about the deductions that we come out based on non-Indian empirical study and its impact and justifiable derivations that we get with our context is only a small, I think, a gap that might need a little addressing in the future, probably.
yes,
But
ma'am.
very good study. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. I'll definitely consider it and study it further.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. ma'am. I will invite Dr. Fatima Kabir for further review.
Yes. Hello, Arthret Padnamode ma'am. It's a very nice paper and a very important subject also to be discussed. I will continue from where Dakshani ma'am was raising a concern. Only point I would add is when you've listed down the number of papers, you could split and talk about the global papers and the Indian context paper numbers. That would help one understand the value you've given to global papers and the number of papers there are. So if it's a ratio where it's a 50-50, one will understand that the study has given equal importance to both. That said, there may be more scope if you had mentioned the AI that you have used, if you have used
Yes, yes.
for finding, sorting, and categorization. But if you have not, then I would strongly suggest you do, because today it's available.
Yes.
And then the number of papers will be a lot more, and then your value to the Indian context papers will also be more. So eventually, it's just a cyclic reaction that the paper will get more and more justified, or the study will get more and more justified.
Yes, ma'am.
My second concern is with the methodology that you mentioned. If you could go to the methodology slide, which speaks about the observation, data collection, and so when you started the presentation, I was quite sure that this was literature review based idea, and that's what it is. Then how does observation and data collection show up?
That is from the available literature which is there. And I have done a meta-analysis, like I'm in the process of doing meta-analysis for the same. So that's why I came to that data collection and pattern recognition and everything.
I don't know, somehow, somewhere maybe it should be mentioned. Because I went back and forth thinking, observation, did you already do some kind of a pilot study or so, which is bringing you to this theory? So Maybe you have a lot of global context papers, and the Indian context you are backing it up with your own pilot studies. So if that is happening, say for example, you will reach that stage of your research and there will be a paper at that stage. Then also if you say it's observation and data collection, then there has to be some difference in the
Yes,
methodology, terminology. You might want to just look at that.
I got it, ma'am. I'll definitely.
Then there is the case study types are interesting. There's one slide which speaks about the case studies and India. Yeah, this one I think modeling, simulation, things like that. And then you've placed where India doesn't have much.
But Fatima ji, I have a point since you have raised that.
Yes, ma'am.
When India it says zero, but she can always zoom down to global south or Asian context.
Yes,
Yes,
Those
yes.
from the top
yes,
ones.
yes, yes.
So I was about to get to that.
Ah,
Itself.
Malaysia and Singapore studies are there.
Yes, there are. I'm sure there are more interventions, and so I'm a little not comfortable with the zero. I would have been
yeah.
okay with one.
Actually, ma'am, like I mentioned, there are studies, there are possibility calculations, but the effectiveness, which at this stage can be very well mapped in terms of simulation or modeling studies, which we can do easily, but these are absent from our context.
But
But
probably I don't think so. We have Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru here, and there is a department which does extensive research on this. Dr. Ramchandra,
Okay.
BGI in Bengaluru, he has mapped all the 80 lakes. There were 800 lakes. So blue-green infrastructure. You should, I think, expand or iterate those search words.
Okay.
The
Currently, I
Boolean
was.
search can be a little more
Uh,
experimented with.
Okay. Right now, I
I
was looking at it from the BGI point of view. Maybe I can
It
explain that a little
probably
bit.
explore the Boolean search in a better way.
but regardless, the BGI is a big shell, and
Uh,
like ma'am is mentioning, those things fit in. And before we claim a statement, we can look at other options. I was just thinking rural intervention efforts, green architectural efforts, there are. But when you say simulation and I start questioning, you might want to look at Dr. Pratik Sudhakaran's work. He is the head of department for Amrita University's PhD. And just see whether you find something tangible there. Maybe call him, he's very approachable also. He might give you some leads there.
Yes, definitely.
And I have two more points. There is a principle 5, which when you mentioned specifically that principle, you started by talking about the issue and then you came to the principle. The other principles sort of have an issue in the background, but they don't come forth.
Oh, yeah.
So, if I have a principle that I want to apply, it's obviously coming from an issue that's embedded. And if I were you, I would emphasize the issue before I would make a statement saying this is what you want to do. Let's imagine I didn't know why I was doing that. I would want to know what the issue is. And then there is a slide where you talk about the BGI role, and there are four ideas I think it talks about. Yeah, that one. Ha.
Oh,
And
benefits.
yes, the benefits. And somehow, so this slide stays, but before and after, you keep talking about the flood. You
Yes.
also end with that part.
Yes, yes.
So the BGI then rather the paper reduces the value of BGI to flood intervention rather than the larger multifunctional benefits that it has, which you do mention. Somehow you focus somewhere in, even if you do want to focus there, then mention it. I'm not making a statement of whether you should not. Maybe
Ma'am, actually, my PhD topic is related to the flood resilience. So, major studies focused on that, and therefore, I have listed it as a co-benefits. Like along with the flood, there is a co-benefits.
Maybe the sub theme to the title might help one get an
Ye-
clarity of why you are leading into a particular
Yes,
direction.
yes, sure, sure.
So, yeah, overall, it's quite some work. Good.
Thank you, thank you. I'll definitely try to incorporate these comments while working forward.
Best of luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Pradnya More, for the first presentation with such a nice interaction between the two reviewers that we are having. The next presentation that we have is by Architect Chandrakant Kataria. Topic is need for post-occupancy assessment of housing quality. Over to you, Mr. Kataria.
Thank you, Prachi ma'am. Good morning, everyone. This is architect, professor, and researcher Chandrakant Kataria from Pune. I'm immensely thankful to Dr. P.A. Inamdar University, Alana College of Architecture, and the team of NCET for allowing me to share my research on this platform.
Okay. Yeah. Dhwani Agni is got logged out. Just give us few seconds. She'll be back to start presenting this.
Chandrakant sir, in the meanwhile, I think the audio was a little low. Can you check? I couldn't hear you clearly.
Okay. Is it any better, ma'am?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Welcome.
We are all sitting in one room, so I can see Dhwani struggling. She'll start the presentation. Tech is not in our hands. Fine.
In the meantime, if I'm audible, maybe I can. Just waiting for the presentation to start.
Yes, sir. Just refuse. She's getting logged out continuously when she starts.
Well. Okay, so thank you, Dhwani ma'am, and good morning, everyone, once again. And I thanked the platform, the university, and the college for this opportunity. So the title of my research is Need for Post-Occupancy Assessment of Housing Quality. It is a part of my larger research project about housing-related happiness. Before I start my presentation, so now is the audio clear? And I just wanted
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Presentation is also there. Please go.
Right, yeah, thank you. So, so this is a part of my larger research project about housing and happiness. Next slide, please. So everyone wants a house and housing. Next slide. Everyone wants a house and housing which he can call his own. To own a house is the most important goal of a common man, for which he strives throughout his life. So there are various tangible and intangible aspects associated with a house that add up to make it very, very important. Tangible aspects like maybe the size, area, the price of the house, the title, that is the ownership, etc. And the intangible aspects like the feeling of safety, comfort, that security that a house offers, the social status and social identity that is associated with it. So it is not just only a prime need, but something that affects the overall happiness and well-being of a person. It is considered as a human right. It is the responsibility of the state to provide housing for its people. It is an indicator of the level of development of a nation. Therefore, governments across the world strive hard to provide housing for all its people. India alone builds more than 11 million houses every year, and that number is increasing year by year. So new houses are built and people start living in these new houses. Next slide, please. So what happens to that house after that? What happens when people start living in that house? Can people live happily in that house throughout their lifetime or the lifetime of the house? Or does anyone keep a track of all this as to what happens to that house? So this research is about the need for post-occupancy assessment of housing quality. It is about the significance of the end user's feedback about his house, what he feels about his house from time to time. Now, why is such an assessment necessary or important? There are many reasons. Requirements of people with respect to the house keep changing and evolving with time. It is important to address these needs. If these changes are not taken care of, that can make people really unhappy and hamper their progress. Another reason is that every house, whether occupied or unoccupied, needs maintenance from time to time to prolong and prevent its dilapidation and the end of it. So availability of collective information of repairs and upkeep of the huge existing stock can make the maintenance task easier as a collective task. Most importantly, it is very important that people are happy with their housing. Research shows that housing related happiness diminishes with time. Improving and maintaining the quality of housing can prevent this, because as people start staying in a house over a period of time, then they start finding the limitations of that house or the faults or the problems with that house, and that affects their happiness. So it is very important that post occupancy assessment is done from time to time at a set periodicity. Next slide, please. So this research exercise tried to check the availability of such data. For the same, various well-known and reliable sources of housing-related data were identified, listed, and then shortlisted to study if they provide the required information about post-occupancy housing quality. So they were studied for their aims, objectives, methodology, and findings. And the list and gist of this study has been summarized here. So the various important sources which provide housing related information. Next slide, please. The most important of this was the Census of India. Now this is a decennial activity for more than 100 years which has been done right from the British period. It started something in 1881 and we are still following that. The latest one is ongoing right now. In this, we have the housing information collection as well. So things like, first of all, listing all the houses across the country and then finding out about their condition. That is whether it is a pakka house, a semi-pakka house or kacha house. Also about the availability of various building services like toilet facilities or the fuel that is used for cooking, source of electricity, etc. All these things are documented, collected in this survey. And that gives an overall picture of housing in the country. Now, if we look at it critically, this housing census is limited to the condition of housing. It doesn't progress further to information about housing satisfaction. That is what people think about their house, how happy or unhappy they are about it. That kind of an information is not a part of this survey. Next slide, please. So other sources of housing data from the government are like, apart from this the census information, is the NSSO, that is the National Sample Survey Organization, or the NBO. So they collect information about housing, the various aspects of housing, and that becomes a database for formulating various policies and programs of the government. But these sources again do not enter or undertake housing satisfaction related information. Next slide, please. This is another important exercise which is being carried out by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India. That is the Ease of Living Index. So all the important cities across the country, they have been classified basically into two categories. That is 1 million plus cities and the cities which are below 1 million in population. And then they are studied for across four pillars, that is the quality of life, economic ability, sustainability, and citizens perception survey. Now the citizens perception survey is about what they think about the city as a whole and about how comfortable or convenient it is living in a particular city. Also, the quality of life pillar has a component of housing, water, sanitation, etc. So similar to the census information, here people talk about how it is living in a particular in that city, and how happy, satisfied, and comfortable they are. But it is not about the housing in detail or their house in detail. I just want to bring to notice that house and housing are slightly different concepts. House, as we all understand, is meant for one family or like people who are living together, whereas housing is like a community living where it is a group of houses along with the means of access, the physical and social infrastructure that is available, the commercial basic facilities, etc. Something similar to what we have the neighborhood concept in planning and things like that. Next slide, please. Now, this is another important survey, which is one of the most celebrated reports across the world now, that is World Happiness Index. It is so because housing studies and basically happiness studies has gained a lot of importance in the 21st century. So, everywhere across the globe, happiness as a important study is being carried out for various things, and World Happiness Index has become one of the most important reports, which is showcasing how countries across the world stand when it comes to overall happiness of people. So consistently, the Nordic countries, it has been found that they top this chart, and India is not very close to the top portion, but somewhere in the middle, and we have been hanging around over there. Now, how this survey is carried out, what are the parameters, and how can you decide the happiness of 140 crores of people with a sample size of 1,000 to 2,000 people, and things like the actual population of these Nordic countries as compared to population of larger countries like India or other countries. So there are many questions, but what is important here that happiness as an important thing is being studied. Now in this again there is an element of health, well-being, etc. But housing as an independent major contributor of happiness is not being studied, or it is not considered as one important factor which is contributing to the happiness of people if you check the methodology. Next, please. Then I studied some other sources which provide housing related data. So Knight Frank, it is a global consultancy which is working in the housing and real estate sector. They also have their India wing which studies the real estate market here. But this is about, their study is about the real estate trends, the fluctuations in the housing market or real estate market, and how the market is progressing or behaving in important cities in the country and things like that. Also, their reports are regular, but they are not with any fixed periodicity where you can compare the trends or arrive at conclusions. I'm not criticizing the report, but the point is that being a private establishment, they have their own ways of carrying out the research, and then it is the reports are published in the public domain. They are available for study to people, but in that again it is about the market trends and the new housing stock that is being added, and not about how the existing stock of housing is faring. Similarly, there are other social media platforms which are very active now in this digital age. So it is the various websites like housing.com or magicbricks.com and so on and so forth. Each one of them provides information about the new housing that is coming into the market. It becomes a platform for people to buy and sell houses and things like that. But they are all popular among the people. Many people refer to this sites for either purchasing or selling their properties and other information about housing in a particular area. But their reliability, authenticity is questionable because, once again, it is a commercial platform. Next slide, please. I came across one company, that is Nimaji, which is very active, particularly in Hyderabad and other cities in the south, where they have come up with a 1200 plus point checklist for what to look for in a house. So, whenever you buy a new house, people can approach this company and they have this thorough list where each and every element of the house is thoroughly inspected before you take possession from the developer or the builder. They have a team of their licensed technical people who inspect each and everything in the house, basically about that tenement, and then the report is given to the owner, that is the purchaser, who can then take the call as to how he wants to go ahead with the purchase, whether to ask for completion and then accept or whatever. So why this study here? Because the list, so this extensive and exhaustive list, at least now someone has tried to come up with a list what to look for in a house. What is it that will affect the quality of the house? So that is why I tried to study this. And so this company is for checking the quality at the time of possession and not for people who are already living in a house for over a period of time. And there are other such companies that are available in the market. This one was a bit more popular, so I tried to study their approach. Next slide, please. So when it comes to studying the housing quality, I came across certain approaches where there is an effort to study the housing quality. So one such approach or effort was the HQI system of the UK government. So what this does, that whenever any housing is developed by the government, basically for the people, then it is studied. Not only the house, but the whole neighborhood and the surroundings are studied as to how good or bad it is for leading a happy life, living in that neighborhood, how it will help the people, and things like that. So again, the need that something like this needs to be studied is what drew my attention. Then the various heads that they are trying to study about a house and housing was another important reason to go for this. But this is for public housing projects, and again at the time of taking possession or at the time of completion. So the government agency takes a survey and finds out how the project has been done, completed, and then it is handed over to the people. Pre-occupancy study. But the list and the approach is something which drew my attention. Next point, please. Next slide. Another innovative approach or something about housing quality. So I studied certain research projects, and the two I have shortlisted here for discussion. One was a research project in Canada. So the researcher has tried to develop a research method for assessing the people's satisfaction with housing. So the model that has been developed and how the various characteristics of the house and housing have been worked about, and how the relationship has worked out, that was something which drew my attention. But it is a research project. A similar project, on similar lines I mean to say, I came across in Kerala, India. Again, it is a research project, that is a PhD thesis. Both of these are research PhD theses. So where the author has tried to develop a methodology for assessing housing quality requirements of a targeted population. So certain areas in the city were shortlisted for study, and then people were interviewed about their perception about the housing in that area. and based on that, conclusions were drawn as to what is contributing to the happiness and what is it that is people are not very happy about and what needs to be done about it. So these approaches, I felt, underlined my aim that there is a need to study housing after it has been occupied. And also, these researchers showed some way as to how this kind of a inquiry can be done about housing related happiness, the quality of the housing, that is, post occupancy. Hence, these research projects are important, or these case studies are important. Next slide, please. So basically, after studying all the various sources, the established ones which are already there, and the other some interesting experiments or researches that are happening, I found that when it comes to post-occupancy housing quality assessment, there are no established survey platforms that are doing it. That is, whether from the government or from private agencies, such a thing is not present. This was one major gap I could identify through my study, or rather underline that gap. The need for such a study has already been explained, and why this is required has also been told. Next slide, please. Yeah. So I felt that there are, like in this contemporary scenario, housing quality study is important, because if you look at the World Happiness Report or the United Nations SDGs, that the target for 2030, or the Vikasit Bharat Mission 2047. So when such missions or goals or targets are taken up either on national or international platform, basically they are talking about uh, to say a very they are talking about the happiness of the people, their well-being in a sustainable world. So at the core of all this is housing, because if the people are happy with the house, they can progress better in life, and this has been proved through research. So working on the housing related happiness becomes very, very important in achieving the goals of such missions. Just a second. So such studies, if undertaken, they will help in upgrading the existing housing stock that we have. That means certain policies, certain regulations can be framed up as to how upgradation and maintenance of housing on a larger scale can be undertaken. So such kind of surveys, such kind of information will help in that. It will also help in formulating the design requirements of the new housing stock that is going to come up, because this will give idea about what people want at a particular point of time when it comes to housing. So such surveys can help in formulating the design requirements for the new housing projects, along with upgrading whatever is already there. So if such exercises are carried out, then it will help in all these ways. This was my finding, and such exercises need to be done periodically. It is not a one-time thing. One another important observation which I would want to bring up in the conclusion is that providing housing for all itself is a big task for governments, particularly the developed nations or the underdeveloped countries. So once some kind of a house is provided, then their attention shifts to providing more houses, and not about what is to be done with the existing housing stock. So that doesn't remain the focus or priority of governments. They are more concentrating on providing and more houses for all its people. So that is also a reason why such studies are not being carried out. But now that we are saying that we want to be a developed nation, particularly India, now that we are talking about sustainable development across the world, happiness around the world, then housing as a unit of planning and as a unit of happiness needs attention. So this is one important finding, and I want to draw my attention to these studies. So my research strongly supports the need for such kind of an assessment, and this either the governments at various hierarchies should carry out this such research, and it should be available in the public domain so that it can be applied on various fronts. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Acharya. May I invite Dr. Dakshayani ma'am for the review. And you're on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Professor Chandrakant. Very nice presentation and very apt component of research that I also mentioned in my presentation earlier. So I was looking forward to your presentation actually, very interesting. And the gap that you have mentioned, very apt. India needs this kind of assessment. But one point draws my attention. In your abstract, you have written a sentence. It was found that none of these surveys or sources study end users' level of satisfaction of housing post its occupancy. This sentence draws my attention because there are, in fact, some of the studies conducted in, say, Lucknow, Kanhapur, and some of these places, but these are in silos. So, are you making a point that we need specifically a standardized periodical assessment?
Yeah.
Is that your take?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that, like, providing a house is one thing, and taking care of that house or knowing about what has happened to that house after it has been occupied is a different thing. And for governments, like particularly if we talk about India and or the underdeveloped countries, their providing house becomes a big challenge. Even the government of India's approach is that if they can't provide house, the complete house for everyone, then either they go for providing plots or maybe sites and services or maybe incremental housing approaches, or maybe just being facilitators when it comes to the building materials or technology or finance. So they try to not attack, sorry, but cater to one aspect at a time, if not the whole thing.
But I'm curious, sir.
Yeah,
For example, there are three types of possibilities.
yeah,
One is, if you permit me, house condition survey.
yeah,
So that is where the survey has to tackle or address the physical condition and availability of the amenities.
yeah,
Second could be residential satisfaction study, where the survey will look at how satisfied the residents are after the housing. And third could be this post occupancy performance or evaluation, where you are judging the occupied building against some parameters, intended requirements.
yes.
So, which one would you be addressing? Either a combination of these or all of these?
A combination of this, because like in my larger research project, I'm trying to say that when it comes to housing, it is about the end user's perception. So how a commoner looks at a house. So it is the house, that is the building, what to say, the structural part of it. Second is the interior part of it, that is the space that is enclosed inside that, those elements of walls, floors, and roofs, and then the surroundings. So the surroundings also I am studying at two levels. One is the immediate neighborhood in a radius of say about 50 meters, and a larger context in a radius of about 500 meters. So together this forms a house. So it is not about what is there only inside it, what is the actual the shell, or what is outside. All this together defines the happiness.
Okay, so the methodology is going to have this structural survey
Yeah.
with its surroundings, and you will be having the resident survey also,
Yes.
second component.
Second component. So
And have you set the parameters for both of these in place in the study?
yeah. Now what I have like slightly beyond the purview of this particular, but what I'm trying to do is that first of all going the technical way, that is how we as architects or technical people look at all this, and then looking at it from the end user's perception, who is a commoner, who is not an architect. So how he perceives housing, that is what I'm trying to find out. So the whole methodology, once I have arrived at the model as to what needs to be found out, then that model is being modified from the end user's point of view. That is how they look at it. So I've tried to remove all the technical terms from it, and I've tried to make it really something which people can easily answer.
So
And
have you embarked on this or yet to
I
complete?
have actually,
You have.
yeah, and I
So
have,
you have a questionnaire and
yeah, it is a very,
sampling and things like that.
yes, ma'am. So
Wonderful.
I have done that.
Looking
And
forward to the results.
actually, ma'am, may I just add that that questionnaire, I have got a very, very interesting fe- uh, rem- uh, uh, feedback from the people, and they were very excited. And that whole thing has been worked out in such a way that it has multiple applications. That is, any Mr. X, Y, or Z can just go through that survey and find out how happy he is about his house. Or one family can do that, because across generations, across genders, across age groups, you find that people's perceptions are different about the same house. So they can collectively find out and then decide what they will do so that they're more happier about their house.
Yes.
Then this can be taken further to different hierarchies. So maybe it is a community or neighborhood or even a town, and that database can become very, very useful.
Definitely.
One approached one developer for like they have done mass projects, housing projects, just to compare what people think about project A, project B, and project C, and how they have like, so that from that they can formulate their next project.
It would be interesting to see what type of housing you would look at.
Yeah,
There are different categories. HUDCO has a housing category system. There might be some other uh, regulations also.
and that
All the best, actually.
just one more thing, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you,
please.
thank you.
Please tell me.
So this questionnaire or this inquiry form is very, very flexible. So even a slum dweller or somebody who is living in a big design house, all can answer that, and they can
Okay.
relate to it very quickly.
I think a pilot survey and what is it, testing the tool would be very essential.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Fatima ma'am, your views, please.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, nice to see you on this platform again.
Same here, ma'am.
And as like before, I'm still intrigued by the topic, and I think a lot of it has been covered by Dakshani ma'am. And I am keen on seeing that questionnaire. So whenever you publish that paper, I would love to read it. I want to know how and what criteria did you extract to come to that, because I made a lot of feedback points which was asking you the same question of how are you going to get there. Now that you say that you've already got there, then I think I'll just not get into all those feedbacks. Couple other things that I would want to smaller points that came to my mind. Like you said, over time, a person might may not be very happy with the house. And I thought of this. I am not challenging the study. It's just a very personal experience that don't our parents get very attached to the house or so, and then they are like, however dilapidated the house is, they will not want to move out. What do we do with such a scenario? How do you place that idea within this
Yeah.
survey? You can think about it. I would love to see that eventually.
Yeah, ma'am. Interestingly, like I came across one research project in UK by Chris Foye, and he is a sociologist. So he studies housing-related happiness, about all these kind of abstract, should I say, concepts as to how people perceive housing and things like that. And in that, I came across this observation, which was one of his findings. There, basically, what he's trying to say, it's not that people don't like their house, but they start becoming critical about it. Like when you buy a new house and you start staying there, then you're very happy that you have a house, it's a new house. So, and he has even specified the period. So after say about 5 years, then what happens is that people start getting critical. acha hai, but like something is not there, this is not there, or like they start becoming critical. And if you think about the Indian mindset, then
Hmm.
actually we have the heritage, what to say, like or emotional attachments with our things. But interestingly, whether we like it or not, perceptions are changing now. Like we are getting more urbanized and westernized in our thinking. So it is not that you design some house or you build a house and then you can live there for generations. People plan their interiors or house. Keep like for 10 years I live here, then maybe I'll switch to a 3 BHK after my kids grow up, and so on. So like so the plans now have changed. It's not
Change.
that you build a house and पढ़ पोते तक वहाँ ऐसे नहीं है. So
Correct.
maybe that is one important
True.
observation.
True.
Yeah.
I think such backgrounds are very important to back up the whole idea that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And can you go to your bibliography slide, the last one?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I find the Jan Gale and Alan Botton interesting as your theoretical backing. I just have a few suggestions which
Yeah.
will help
Please, ma'am.
probably establish this thing further. Is Heidegger with being and dwelling, Plasma with intimacy and belonging,
Yeah.
and if you want a metaphorical idea about poetry or so with house,
Hmm.
then John Haydock's book. I can put these names in the chat box if you want.
Please, ma'am.
And there are many more that you can talk about when you're talking about this idea, because somehow when you mentioned specifically, you said you want us to understand the difference between housing and a
Yeah.
house,
Yeah.
and the house before it's built and what happens after.
Yeah.
These ideas do have an emotional layer to it.
Yes.
And somehow the indexes that we are talking about that you have listed down, not quite sure how much of that emotional aspect is being covered there. It's a little difficult also. So whatever has been covered there is extensive and good, but you are trying to achieve a stage beyond that. And hence maybe a paper on a comparative analysis of all the indexes. So you list down all the index, the sub criteria, make a table, and then extract the overlappings and extract which fit into which category. Say, for example, an emotional category, the residential response, the structural one, the one beyond the house, infrastructure one, things like that. It will help you then justify every single aspect that is there already in your questionnaire, which again I'm looking forward to see.
Yes, I'll certainly discuss this with you sometime.
So yes, it's a very nice paper, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Interesting interactions for all of us here, and our students also were joining the session, were actually seeing the session online with our YouTube and the Facebook link. Here we come to the end of the first session today with Dr. Dakshayani Patil and Dr. Fatima Kabir. I would request Fatima ma'am to continue if she can for the further presentations, if that is possible. And
I have some commitments, ma'am. But best of luck to the participants and the team, and thank you very much for inviting me on this platform.
thank you so much, ma'am, for the lovely interactions. I'm sure the participants are going to get back to you and look for
Most
a lot
welcome.
of knowledge seeking that will be possible.
Yes.
Yes, and I think I'm meeting Fatima ma'am after attending her workshop at COATRC. I'm meeting Dr. Dakshayani ma'am after we participated together in research methodology at NIASA, the earlier center. A big thanks to Professor Jayashree Deshpande ma'am for bringing all the architects together for the research effort that is happening, and of course to Council of Architecture also, because of which there is a big network now of researchers that is happening. A good point to acknowledge over here for them. Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Just a 2 second break. I'll have the other presenter also. He's there online.
Hi, Prachi. How are
Corner
you?
with
I
the
can see
keynote.
Nazia also. How are you, Nazia? All good?
I think
All good. Great. So I believe the first track is over. Now we are moving to second track or something like that.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So
We can start, I believe. Okay, we
yes,
can start and we are all ready. Okay, and
yes.
I will be having less trouble and Nazia is with me. Okay, so we can start it. No issues.
So before we
Yes, sir.
begin, before we begin, let me introduce Dr. Sarvesh Mishra to our participants and to our keynote speaker, Dr. Dakshayani Patil, who has been there since morning 10 o'clock with us. A hearty welcome for our jury member for the second session today, Dr. Sarvesh Mishra, Professor and Dean, School of Executive Education and Industry Relations, Nikmar University of Construction Studies, Hyderabad. Dr. Sarvesh Mishra is a distinguished visionary, academic leader, researcher, and institution builder with over 25 years of experience in higher education. He earned his PhD in Energy Management in 2008 from the Power Management Institute, NTPC Limited, Noida. He is a permanent member of the Indian Green Building Council, the Indian Concrete Institute, the International Institute of Quality Surveyors in Dubai and Qatar. Since joining NICMAR in 2007 from the University of Delhi, he has played a transformative role in elevating the institution's global reputation, bridging the critical gap between the theoretical knowledge and industrial application. His interest areas include construction 5.0, AI integrated project and cost management, building information modeling, digital twin, P6, CostX, and modern methods of construction. Academic leadership and governance as the Dean of the School of Executive Education, Placements and Industry Relations. Dr. Mishra oversees institutional strategy and quality assurance. His leadership extends across several key statutory bodies like Academic Council, Vision and Mission Committee, Admission Committee, and Board of Examinations at NICMAR University. His external advisory roles extend to other universities in Telangana and Odisha. Dr. Mishra has contributed towards executive education, pioneered and launched 2 new executive MBA programs to upskill working professionals in the construction and infrastructure sectors. He is a co-author of Constructing Competence, the NAC model for workforce upskilling, conducted training of government department engineers, including recruitment assistance to specialized jobs in digital construction. Dr. Mishra is a dedicated researcher with cost management in the backdrop, specializing in infrastructure finance, construction economics, and project risk management. He has published over 100 papers and holds a patent for a supply chain financing kiosk. He has successfully guided 7 PhD scholars. He is known for his ability to execute consultancy across government and private bodies. He has visited 17 countries, including USA, European Union, Middle East and North Africa, and Southeast Asia, to deliver the talks affecting the industries. We are pleased that Dr. Mishra is with us and extend a warm welcome to him. Thank you, sir, for joining our second National Conference on Empirical Theories. We shall now begin our last 3 paper presentations of the architect, researcher, and practitioner category participants. Sir, we have specially invited due to his technical expertise because as architects, we have started working on a lot of interdisciplinary subjects as well, where Sir has reviewed certain papers. So the next presentation here is by architect Dattatreya Ambure, Dr. Dattatreya Ambure. The topic is UDCPR, a blessing or a bane for real estate. Impact analysis on Solapur city, Maharashtra, architecture, design, planning, and sustainability. I invite Dr. Dattatreya Ambure to present this paper.
Thank you, Prachi.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, audible.
Yes, audible, my
Yes,
dear?
audible.
Okay, I'm starting the presentation. Uh, Good day, everyone. I am Dr. Dattatreya Motilal Ambure, representing Sonali Consultant and SSM College of Architecture, presenting alongside the Dr. Kavita Murukar. Today, we present our empirical impact analysis titled UPDCR, A Blessing or Ban, Real Estate. Impact analysis on Solapur City, Maharashtra. Uh, Historically, urban planning across Maharashtra was permeated across the city-specific development control regulation, creating survive design policy unpredictably. The Unified Development Control and Promotion Regulation (UPDCR) uh, actually started the government of UPDCR for one rule on every city for D class or all over Maharashtra started the UPDCR in 2020 and start over all over the Maharashtra. Next slide. Statement of the problem. Our problem statement highlights three critical issues. Uh, Uniform statewide mandates the overlook local municipal networks limit. High FSI and TDR premium structures indicate the land development cost and squeezing up out of small developers. And unregulated vertical density creates a gap between the permitted building volumes and actual civic infrastructure capacity. Our research addressed a key gap, the limited empirical evidence on how statewide unified conducts impact the intermediate, older municipal zones compared tier 1 metropolitan hubs. These are the objectives to evaluate how the UPDCR streamlines urban development workflow in intermediate tier 2 cities and to examine the impact of the FSI TDR financial premium pressures on small developer participation and land development cost, to analyze the infrastructure gap between the increased permissible vertical density and municipal civic capacity, and to access the framework capacity for delivering equitable slum upgrading and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana affordable scheme without displacing the low-income residents. Empirical methodology. Our methodology combines historical spatial mapping of Solapur growth from 1953 to present uh, with a comparative analysis of the legacy, DCR various CPDCR codes focusing on the road width, H by 5 open space calculations and premium structure. Additionally, we evaluate the localized delivery across all four PMI components in ISSR, class, AHP, and BLC. Next slide, please. These are the historical map of growth of Solapur city. 1950 through near about 22 square meter area of Solapur city, and presently 178 176 square meter. This is the growth of the Solapur city. For additional some 1997 extended Solapur city, and then after 2000 and presently cover this area for 176 square meter. Next slide, please. Methodology and survey design. We conduct a structured mixed method survey with 28 validated response. The samples include the 71.4 academic researcher and 28.6% active industry professional, and comprising the architect, engineers, and developers from both colleges of Solapur city and also for WIT Solapur. Our 75% respondent bring deep field experience to these evaluations. Next slide, please. This is the statistical ma'am, previous slide, please. Our data collected by the professional, near about 74% as an architect has been covered this survey form, and near about maximum young student have been submit my this form. Actually, UPDCR, I'm in working as an architect in Solapur city, and start with DCR rule to UPDCR. How the changes by the government and the practitioner, it is useful or not, is the main aim of this my research. And I'm submitting this Google form on my education background group, professional group, builder, developer, all the group have been sent my Google form, but only few people for fill this form, and only I'm forced for the student who fill the form for I'm teaching this subject, and uh, they responded mainly for student and our college colleague. Next slide, man. This is the key empirical metrics reveal a clear dual dynamic. 78.6% confirm that UPDCR has building plan approval faster and more predictable. And then core zones for 51.9 feel it improves the safety and ventilation, but nearly 30% reports have designed the friction historical. And infrastructure needless for easily handle the located vertical load, can be handled the extra vertical load, while the rest serve a strain on this municipal system. And then 26 outer boundary and TDR. Actually, start the TDR for our city. For maximum people are get the road winding FSI, which is land acquired by the government for the road or reservation, and they will not develop for the municipal sanction, municipal authority, and they get the TDR for zone wise for A2, A1, and in these days the TDR is totally declared for use for anything and anywhere, no, only for plot valuation and DDR valuation percentage at actual. Next slide, ma'am, please. Statistical analytical finding. Examining the slum redevelopment and affordable housing matrix, slum areas missing municipal infrastructure 46.4%, and low land values relative to high premium FSI cost near about 42.9 are the main roadblocks. And PMI delivery component, affordable housing in partnership demonstrate the success of 63%, followed by BLC 29.3%. In Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, there are four components: affordable housing cost and BLC, and also for loan for subsidy. These are the four components, and basically maximum work on affordable housing partnership for. Next slide, please. Graphical representation and global reading. When asked for an overall audit on UPDCR in Solapur, 32.1% view of the strictly a blessing due to the standardization, and 3.6% clarify it is a ban, and 64.3 view as a mix recognizing the streamlined approved, while the strongly advocating for the localized contextual adjustment. Next slide, please. These are the parameters of the private slum redevelopment. Slum pocket, for 46.6% for low and value and high efficiency, and TDR FSI near about 42.9, and complies with land title maximum 10.7. Next slide, ma'am, please. These are the relative implementation of the success of PMIS scheme. Affordable housing is maximum people are interested, and less interest in slum redevelopment. Actually, in my Solapur city, 220 slums and 159 declared and undeclared some 59. And I'm working my actually my PhD subject is slum redevelopment and slum upgradation and urban governance. I did research on Indian slum with reference to Solapur city. I'm studied this slum area, but the people are interested to upgrade their house, not redevelopment process. And in my Solapur city, available of the land is easily available for other side. That's the reason government has started the AHP scheme. In my city, near about 7 to 8 project for AHP scheme, 30 square meter carpet area, and the government cost for only for 10 lakh rupees, 11 lakh rupees is the cost of construction. Cost of unit, and 2.5 lakh is beneficiary for PMI scheme, and also labor subsidy 2.5. Remaining amount paid for 6 to 5 lakh for these beneficiaries. Next slide. Statutory concession of the differential framework, affordable housing incentives, and standard private schemes, and section of penalty risk for UPDC has started. The government has started for the big scheme for near about the development charges near about 2 crore or additional. That time the government for subsidy for development charges paid only for near about 20% amount has been paid, and other payment for 18% for annum penalty for they paid the amount for 5 years, and small builder has started the work and they paid the 20 or 20 plus flat, and they paid the amount in 20 lakhs. Same small builder has started the work, that time the lots of difficulty, and big builder for start the work for easily government has accessed this amount, and they paid the amount in 5 years, and small builder start the work, they paid the same time. That's the reason not competitor the builder and small builder to big builder is the main motto of my study. Next slide, please. This is the TDR factor for in Solapur city, 22 square meter to 178 square meter, the addition of this extended area, and formula for the transfer TDR capacity FSI, ready-reckoner rate divided by ready-reckoner rate receiving the plot, and quantum surrounded by the reservation area. These are the factor of last slide I have to see seen for where is the plot purchase the TDR, and that's the amount of plot, and where the generate the plot area. This is the proportion that paid the amount the TDR and purchase it, and load this which develop the plot they consider. Next slide. Implementation and performance. In summary, component ISR shows 0% uptake because the private developers cannot justify the high FSI TDR premium cost against low values and the slum pockets. Component 3 succeeds 63% through the public lead mass housing project, while the component 4 BLC survives the peripheral self builder effectively at 29.6%. Discussion, novelty and values. Our study highlights the three major policy trade-offs: approval speed versus public housing stagnation. Approval workflow are faster, 78.6%, but private slum redevelopment remains the dormant due to thin margins, and the capital lack of the small developers face 100% upfront premium requirement, frying up a crucial capital. And infrastructure strain, density is pushed to peripheral merged villages without the proportional utility upgrades. Next slide, please. Qualitative insights from the local partitioners. Qualitative feedback from the local architects and developers highlights the three core partitioner concerns. High premium and road width less increase the upfront budget, driving up home price for buyers. Individual slab builders urgently need reduced development charges for EWS and LIG housings. And the rigid setback, the parameters restrict the architectural design flexibility on small infill plot under 150 square meter. Government has started to J level for 150 square meter plot allowed for the J level, get the permission for directly to the engineer and owner. Conclusion and strategic plan. To maximize the benefits of UPDCR in intermediate cities, we propose three calibrated policy adjustment and infrastructural tight density 46.4% preference, pair high approval with the municipal grant for the utility upgrades, rationalize the premium 32.1% preference, scale statutory conversion fees to match tier 2 market relates, and remove her section of 124.2 default the risks, and flexible code of 21.4% offer contextual setbacks relaxation for historic Gautam zones. By balancing the universal policy standards and local spatial economic relates, UPDCR can evolve into a true market catalyst and sustainable growth. Thank you.
Thank you for the
These are the
presentation.
references.
Thank you for the presentation, sir. May I invite Dr. Sarvesh Mishra first for the review?
Yeah, Dr. Dattatreya, I have gone through your presentation, though I have not been given the manuscript or the paper. But whatever I could understand, there are a couple of questions. It starts from beginning itself. That why did you choose the mixed methods of research, number one, and why only 28N was taken? When any kind of mixed methods are there, ideally it starts from 30 samples up to 150.
Sir, actually,
What prompted you to go for 28 samples? From there, my story
yes,
starts. Sample size is too low. Sample size is too low to make any kind of inference that can be drawn.
yes, sir. This
And why did you choose the mixed methods of sampling? That also I want to know. What was the rationale for that?
Yes, sir. Okay. This subject is a purely architectural development project.
Yes.
And I'm working about this subject in my postdoc.
Okay.
That time I'm decided to whole city or all over Maharashtra get the study and visit this any association. They meet and working about this UPDCR.
You have done a very specific study
Yes.
that is limited to Solapur. Solapur is having some kind of geographic limitations, water shortage, sewage problem, all those things have been taken care of or not? You tell me first. Because FSI allotment is a different perspective altogether. Okay.
No, sir.
First
Actually,
of all,
the start the UPDCR was the government rule. All over Maharashtra same rule on same time.
I know, sir. I know all over Maharashtra except Mumbai is having the same rule.
Yes.
Okay. So UPDCR, why it was done? It was done to allow that you can have an increased FSI, tall buildings can come, correct or not? You can have a lesser setbacks, correct or not? So when that is being allowed, now question is that with the 28 kind of sample size, what kind of inference we can draw?
Actually, I'm collect the sample size. I'm submitting the Google form, my all group. The people are not interested to submit this form. Only student and my colleague has fill up this form.
That's fine. Okay.
And
That's fine.
actually the UPDCR rule is totally misguided for the developer. They start the only for developer some builders are come to the meeting and whichever is solving for our side, they include this point in UPDCR. Lots of
If
difficulty.
the UPDCR has brought some kind of ease of doing business,
Yes.
lot of developers have come to Solapur or not?
No, Solapur, actually the builders lobby working on FIDA Maharashtra or Association of India.
Yeah.
They working on which difficulty they face this sanction purpose. Because the government authority has or authority person says whichever is in the law and get the facility for your side. That's the reason all of the मेरा बोलने का मतलब ये है कि जो भी उनको डिफिकल्टी था वो इसमें यूपीडीसीआर में सॉल्व करके दिए. डेवलपमेंट चार्जेस बोलो, हायर एफएसआई बोलो, और पार्किंग का जो रूल है, पुणे मुंबई में फुल पार्किंग है, हमारे इधर उनको प्रोत्साहन के लिए उन्होंने 60% किया है. तो जो एडजस्टमेंट और ये है ना, क्या पूरा ऐसा कंस्ट्रक्शन का मास कंस्ट्रक्शन क्वांटिटी हुआ है, परमिसेबल एफएसआई है. लेकिन अभी बीच में एक पेपर में आया था कि प्लॉट एरिया 12 मीटर रोड के विड्थ में उन्होंने 8 मंजिली बांधकाम परमिशन दिया है.
Yes.
24 मीटर को उन्होंने फायर एनओसी एग्जाम किया है.
Yes.
रिफ्यूज एरिया एग्जाम किया है.
Yes.
तो बिल्डर ने क्या किया है, 2.74 के हिसाब से 8 मंजिली किया है और परमिशन को 2.4 है, 74 है, लेकिन वर्किंग को 3.2 है. जब कंप्लीशन को गए तो कारपोरेशन क्या बोल रही है कि आपकी हाइट बढ़ गई 32 मीटर, तो आपको वापर परवाना नहीं मिलेगा.
I know that.
ये जो ये चल रहा है ना, वो बेनिफिट कैसा लेने का उसका लिमिट इसमें क्रॉस करके लिए उन्होंने.
नहीं, ठीक है, बट आई बिलीव दैट अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग सेगमेंट के बारे में आपने बात नहीं किया. आपने एकदम लोअर एंड वीकर सेक्शन के बारे में बात किया जहां पे गवर्नमेंट का बहुत सारा बेनिफिट्स आते हैं. ओके, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द मिडिल क्लास अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग के बारे में.
अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग में क्या हुआ सर, मैंने आपको बोला था कि हमारे इधर एएचपी में अफोर्डेबल लो कॉस्ट में नियर अबाउट 7 से 8 प्रोजेक्ट चल रहे हैं. स्लम पे कोई भी काम नहीं चल रहा रीडेवलपमेंट का. और वो भी कैसा आउटसाइड ऑफ द सिटी, जो भी एएचपी में काम है आउटसाइड ऑफ द सिटी. और कॉस्टिंग में भी क्या कर रहे हैं, लेबर हमारे इधर ज्यादा है. ठीक है, प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना का 2.5 लाख, लेबर फंड लेबर का 2.5, उनको खाली 6 लाख में घर मिल रहा है, लेकिन उधर जाके नहीं रह रहा है कोई.
That problem is there in every city. Okay, जाके नहीं रह रहे हैं, वो तो हर जगह पे है, because employment opportunities are not there in the local surrounding areas. That's why they are not going. So we have to build that particular model. I know that, sir, but a research will be better if we have a minimum sampling size of 40 to 50.
This sampling is not for our research work, but because I'm totally work on physical mode, not for adjustment. एक्चुअली सैम्पलिंग साइज जो है मेरे हिसाब से कंज्यूम करके मैं लिख सकता था, लेकिन वैसा करने का नहीं. मुझे पोस्टडॉक का टॉपिक, मुझे सेम टॉपिक पे मैं अभी आगे कर रहा हूँ उस पे काम.
नहीं, वो ठीक है, आपने जो किया मैंने देख लिया उसको. आई हैव सीन इट. आई अप्रिशिएट दैट यू हैव डन इट राइटली, बट आई एम टेलिंग यू दैट व्हेन एनी काइंड ऑफ स्टैटिस्टिकल मिक्स सैम्पलिंग इज यूज्ड, देन आप 30 इज द मिनिमम थ्रेशोल्ड. ओके, you should ideally go 50 plus, number 1.
Yes,
number 2 is that when you are talking about UDC PR, it was done with an intention that कि ज्यादा laws ना रहे. It is a single window system, and Bombay को छोड़ के आप जहां पे भी ऑपरेट करना चाहते हैं, there the rules and the laws are same. Number 3 is that the FSI and the TDR, whatever that will be given, and the UDC PR, you will be getting more FSI and TDR. Number last, I will be saying that ये जो अप्रूवल को स्ट्रीमलाइन करने के लिए ये सब किया गया था.
Yes.
Okay, you must know that UDC PR was intended to streamline the approvals.
ऑनलाइन वर्क इज
Yes, ऑनलाइन में वो हुआ या नहीं वो तो आपको बताना है ना. वो हो गया सर, ऑनलाइन में सब कुछ हो गया. Now if the deviations are there and if it is specific to some developer, then that is a different story. But UDC PR is one of the role model in the country right now also. I must tell you that. Okay, हाँ, हो सकता है कि one model may not fit to all the cities. कि सोलापुर का अलग सा चैलेंज हो सकता है, नागपुर का अलग सा चैलेंज हो सकता है, सांगली का अलग सा चैलेंज हो सकता है. So one model may not be fitting into everything, but it has revolutionized the developer community by giving them lot of tools which can be done very easily, very proactively. Okay, you have done a okay kind of job. It can be much better. आप अगर postdoc करना चाहते हैं, then please go beyond that particular sampling limits. Number two is that आप references कुछ नहीं दिखाया. How come you can do a research without any references? And the person who has advised you on this statistical tool, he has not given you the correct advice. Okay?
Yes.
आपको correct advice उन्होंने दिया नहीं है. उसको that can be improvised and it can be strengthened also. That's what I can tell you. But the topic that you have chosen is very evolving. So मुझे लगता है कि आपको थोड़ा सा problem हो रहा होगा ये sample collect करने में. That's what I can tell you. Okay? But that is what
एक्चुअली मैंने जो पीएचडी का जो मेरा ये था ना सैम्पलिंग यूनिट, मैंने 550 स्लम का सैम्पलिंग किया था.
Yes.
स्लम एरिया में मैंने स्पेसिफिकली ऑफिस किया था उधर, डोर टू डोर जाके क्या सब डाटा.
Yes, no problem. Okay.
ये पॉसिबल नहीं ना अभी.
नहीं मैं तो सिर्फ प्रेजेंटेशन देख रहा हूँ. आई हैव नॉट गॉन थ्रू योर पेपर. रेफरेंसेस आर नॉट गिवन आल्सो एंड लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. जो अपॉर्चुनिटी एक मॉडल का आप जो यूडीसीपीआर का कर रहे हैं, then you should have a holistic SWOT analysis करना चाहिए.
Okay? Definitely sir, because
SWOT analysis एक करना चाहिए. And मैं बता दूं आपको आज के टाइम में भी, okay, UDCPR is one of the game changer in the all India. Okay.
Only for online side, possible for everyone. People who's in Pune, they submit the on other.
By the way, अभी सोलापुर में वाटर सप्लाई, सुएज नेटवर्क वो सब कैसा है? मैंने छोटा मोटा रिसर्च सोलापुर में जाके किया हुआ है. ठीक है. 2001-2 में जाके किया हुआ है.
अच्छा हुआ है सर काम.
अभी पानी का सप्लाई कंडीशन कैसा है?
पानी का सप्लाई सिस्टम अभी 5 days 8 days.
मुझे पता है, मैं 2001 से लेके 2003 तक जब रिसर्च कर रहा था, एनटीपीसी यूनिट सोलापुर में मैं अटैच था. ठीक है, मैं एनटीपीसी गेस्ट हाउस में रहकर काम किया हूं, इसलिए मैंने ये क्वेश्चन आपको पूछा.
यस बराबर.
आई वाज देयर एंड वहां पे सीवेज नेटवर्क का भी इशू था. मुझे पता है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी शटडाउन वाज वेरी लॉन्ग. ओके, road widths were very narrow. I am talking about my research time of 2001-2-3. Okay, when I was doing a regular research from Delhi School of Economics.
Actually, yes sir. Actually क्या मालूम है क्या आपको? यूपीडी सर अभी आया है. उधर डेवलपर को मालूम था 2011 में उन्होंने सब लेआउट 6 मीटर के सैंक्शन करके लिए. अभी यूपीडी सर आ रहा है 9 मीटर का कंपलसरी बोल के, लेकिन पूरा लैंड ऑलरेडी कवर्ड 6 मीटर से हुआ है. डेवलपर को मालूम था कि नया रूल आने वाला, तो पहले से सैंक्शन करके सब.
ठीक है, बढ़िया. सो आई बिलीव कि ये ठीक ठाक था. ओके, एंड यू कंटिन्यू टू डू द गुड वर्क. ओके, these are some kind of improvisation that you can do to your paper, but the topic is very very emerging and cutting edge. That's what I will compliment to you. The topic is very cutting edge. थोड़ा difficulty हुआ होगा आपको मिलने के लिए samples, but I can understand that. आप इसको improvise कर सकते हैं.
Yes sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra. I'll just like to call Dr. Dakshani Patil for the news, please.
Thank you, Prachi ji. Thank you, Dr. Dattatreya Ambure. Very nice presentation, a good inquiry and all that. Very valid point that Professor Mishra has already brought up. I will not talk about the sample size, which was also on my mind. But what I would like to ask is the composition of the sample. Because your objective in the abstract states, this research provides an analytical framework for aligning statewide policies with localized community needs. So I would be more interested in expanding the composition of the sample rather than students or architects. Why not look at the impacted group because of PMAY or the policy sector, policy making involved people? Let us see their perspective. We need not be biased that we are challenging this policy. We should be unbiased and look at a wider impacted group is what I feel would do justice to this survey. The numbers, of course, I'm sure you're going to take care of that. But the
actually ma'am, I am visiting faculty in both colleges. One college is student for 11 member and 25 number is only for colleges. And
Yes.
3 member for working professional has submit their form.
But
And
we cannot.
I'm sending the form for all over my group.
But sir, I think we should devise a better tool for getting surveys. Contact these policy municipal corporations We
Ma'am,
have to
actually,
solve this challenge. No, we can't say it's not
within a
available.
within time of 1.5 month, not possible for collecting the data.
Right.
The Google form is the best solution, but they not possible for everyone call to you and fill the form. And
I would just like to intervene, Dr. Rambure, if jury is there to give us the review, the crit. So we'll just listen and then we can start with the next presentation.
yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all. Sir. Actually, in Karnataka, we have a similar policy called as Akrama Sakrama.
Hmm.
So that is retrospective, trying to patch up of what wrong has already happened. It hasn't been successful, but like Professor Mishra said, probably this is a good case study for us also here. Thank you for enlightening us on that.
Actually, the result is different.
Huh.
I am totally banned for UPDCR, but the result for the student as positively for the UPDCR is great. Working professional not for support to UPDCR.
Okay.
Because the small working architect not possible for survive their work. Only for big project has been worked on. Same in all over Maharashtra.
But how qualified are students to take a judgment call on this?
They studied for bylaws only. For
That was another question.
working of calculation system only for P line. This is the main benefit for the UPDCR. इनक्लोज बालकनी स्टेयरकेस सब आउटर इसमें कैलकुलेट होगा और लिमिट नहीं है. आप टॉयलेट को भी हॉल को भी टॉयलेट बता सकते हैं, बाथरूम को भी हॉल यूज कर सकते हैं. वो लिमिट सब उसमें उड़ा दिया उन्होंने. पहला पूरा ऐसा निकाल के दिया है वो.
अच्छा.
कुछ भी बता, कुछ भी दिखाओ पी लाइन में ले बस. FSI कैलकुलेशन आपको एंसिलरी रोड विड्थ के हिसाब से मिलेगा. 9 मीटर को 2 FSI.
तो सैम्पलिंग में उनको भी रहना चाहिए, द पॉलिसी मेकर्स एंड द पर्सन हु इज डिसाइडिंग ऑल दिस.
मैम एक्चुअली मैं उधर उनको सब्जेक्ट दिखा रहा हूँ. क्या मैंने खुद फिलअप करके उनको समझा के बताया है, लेकिन उनको इंटरेस्ट नहीं है अभी.
That's a gap.
हाँ.
And we have to see how to address it. Thank you. All the best, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Let us move on to the next presentation by Dr. Abhijit Nathu. This topic is grounded theory approach in the domain of environmental behavior studies.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, but it's just flickering a bit, not so clear.
Now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Please begin, sir.
So, yeah. So the conference is on empirical theories, and I thought that I would rather make a case for grounded theory approach for in the domain of environment behavior studies, because my work has been predominantly in the domain of environment behavior. So being a qualitative field, I thought I can demonstrate how grounded theory approach can be useful in deriving findings and also generating theories empirically grounded. Okay. Next slide. We are able to see a very popular and landmark book in architecture, A Pattern Language by Christopher Alexander et al., where they have demonstrated how the behavior of people or use of spaces, there exists a pattern between use and the actual physical setting. And one of the important aspects of environment behavior studies is to explore the associations between the people and the physical environment. So this is a qualitative inductive model of studying pattern identification and then theorizing from the field data that is grounded in the data. So therefore they are called as grounded theories. So typically an inductive model, qualitative model of research, it doesn't aim at generalization, but neither it starts with a deductive approach like you start with a hypothesis. But this is generally an open-ended approach where the data is collected and then to actually make sense of the data, derive patterns, and then theorize about it. Next. It was developed long back in the 60s by Barney Glaser and Anselm Strauss. As I said, it's an inductive strategy where the process of data collection, coding, that is analysis, and memoing, that is theory generation, happen simultaneously in an iterative open-ended manner, which is very peculiar to this method. So when you are on the field, because field research is one of the important way in which grounded theory method is used. So you actually observe, you try to make sense, then trying to do cross comparisons, and then you go to the next case, you compare the next case with the previous case and so on, and then you start identifying the patterns and then generate the theory. So this all happens simultaneously, which is the beauty of this grounded theory method. Next. And of late, I have just reviewed literature recently that various studies in which grounded theory research is used. So one of the papers, Zamani and Babeg have reviewed, it's a review paper for understanding use of grounded theory method in urban planning and design. And it is increasingly a popular method these days. One of the authors has used grounded theory method to identify influencing factors of development of green buildings by designers using in-depth interview method. Milo 2020 has used it to understand sound perceptions and acoustic environments of participants. And one of the authors has also used a constructivist grounded theory to tap residents' experiences of care homes in dementia. So these are few examples I've cited on the slide just to demonstrate, how grounded theory method has been used in architectural research. Next. Coming to my research, this is an old research which I had conducted, but it is a classic example of how grounded theory method can be used in landscape behavior studies. It aimed to explore associations between physical characteristics of formal open spaces and the use of those open spaces. The study was carried out in Pune, which is one of the major cities in the western state of Maharashtra, and the sample included, based on literature, I could identify that there are three types of open spaces. One open space is the park-like space which has tended vegetation and lawn is dominant. Second is grounds which are more or less barren and with or without peripheral trees. And third are unkempt settings which are not maintained, wild undergrowth, and generally littered kind of open spaces. So my sample, there were totally 17 open spaces which I studied by using behavioral mapping as a tool, and these open spaces were classified under these three categories. And to get a sociogeographic representation of open spaces, I could do area cluster sampling across various zones of the city of Pune. Next. So the method which was used was initially an inventory was carried out. Inventory was carried out for each space to mark all the physical features of the space and prepare a drawing giving all the details of the open space. Then every selected space was then visited on a weekend and a weekday to have representation of different users, because probably on weekends you have different types of users. Weekdays, some different users will be there. And activity mapping was carried out from morning 7 a.m. to evening 8 a.m. And along what is activity mapping is actually on the base map at a given point, you just mark number of people, the activities they are using, approximate age and gender of the people. So you get a map which is full of these symbols which represent people, the activity they are doing, age and gender. Along with this activity mapping, I also carried out ecology observations. Ecology observations refers to the interactions of the people between themselves, and the graphical data which was generated in this form was in form of maps and also count data, because I was counting people in form of number. So my data was predominantly maps and also the count data which was generated at the end of the activity mapping. Next. The tool which was used for data analysis was the graphical data was content analyzed to identify patterns of associations of landscape features or characteristics and activity and use that was happening in the open space. And my core research question was how activities are associated with landscape characteristics. And the count data was used to study the association or test the association between spatial characteristic and activity and the users. Next. I've just demonstrated a sample of one, what you can say, pattern where count data and pattern documentation was carried out. For example, you have surfaces lawn as a landscape element. Then what are the activities you found? Lawn passive activities, lawn health related activities, and lawn informal play. So these were the three types of activities which were observed, and predominant activities, and within passive activities sub activities, and which open spaces I found them and at what timings I found them. So detailed analysis of those patterns has been tabulated in this Excel sheet. So D1 refers to the open space. D1 is the title of the open space. LN refers, I'm just demonstrating one row. LN refers to late noon. B1 is the other open space where MO is morning, LN is late noon, EV is evening. So how many times I found a particular activity happening on lawn and at what timings I found it. So this kind of Excel sheet for each landscape character was documented. For example, this is lawn. There will be another sheet for ground. There will be another sheet for raised platforms and so on. So I had plenty of these Excel sheets which gave me understanding of what kind of data was, what kind of associations one was finding between the open space characteristics and the people. Next. So several findings led to pattern identification, and these patterns led to formulation of grounded theories. A total of 15 grounded theories emerged from this study. Considering the paucity of space of this particular paper, only few significant findings and theories are presented in the forthcoming sections. Next. So this was the first kind of pattern I have identified. Pattern of association between type of surface and activity. So you can say, see, and again, the surfaces were identified only after I went to the open space. Again, it is inductive coding. So I was not having a framework that I will select this surface, that surface. Whatever was there on those 17 open spaces, those surfaces were classified. So I had four types of predominant surfaces. One was a paved surface, second was a raised stage kind of a thing, third was natural ground, and fourth was lawn. In the lower diagrams or the photographs, you can see that what activities are happening on the lawn, what activities are happening on a raised stage kind of a thing. And we can easily see that from the graphical representation, on a raised stage, passive activities were happening, while on natural ground, strenuous sports were happening predominantly. So I actually counted the number of people involved in various activities on various surfaces, and a cross tabulation was cross tabulation was created, and I found the chi-square test significantly indicating that there is association between the type of surface and the activity happening. So this was one important finding I got from the study, that there is a relation between type of surface and the activity. Next. So soft surfaces at ground level or at a height like mound afforded passive uses, exercise and informal play. Hard surfaces at natural ground or paved surface at ground level were used for strenuous play. Hard surfaces at height supported sitting, and texture and configuration of grass mounds afforded passive activities like lying down, sitting and informal play. So these are the patterns, and the emergent grounded theory was activities supported by a surface have association with the texture and the height of that surface. So this is the overall grounded theory which emerged from my data. Next. I also was another pattern I found out was the pattern of association between type of space and gendered use. So if you see the park-like spaces and the grounds, we can easily see that the grounds, the percentage of male population is higher, almost 81%, as compared to the female population. However, in the park spaces, male is 44 and female is 56%. I conducted a chi-square test, and this also was found significant, which indicated that there is association between the type of space and gendered participation. Next. So the pattern and emergent grounded theory is that male users dominate grounds and park-like spaces support greater participation of female users. So the theory is contents of a space can affect gendered use of an open space, and park-like spaces tend to support female user participation significantly more than the grounds. So this was the emergent grounded theory. Next. Thirdly, the third theory I am presenting here is the pattern of association between location of the entry point and the gendered use. So the upper plan, you can see the blue dots indicate the male users in a park. This is a plan of a park, and lower is the orange users, which are the female users in the park. And we can easily make out that on the lower plan, the plan of the park is very peculiar. So it is very linear with an entry only from one side, and you realize that in the first portion near the entry you will find more female users, while male users are almost distributed over the entire length of the park. Next. So the composite mapping indicated that density of female users are more in the zones closer to the entry point of larger spaces. This was possibly owing to the visibility of entry point, which was an aspect considered important by the female users from the point of view of security. The emergent grounded theory that the open spaces which were larger than 0.5 hectares and above, having a single entry point, the users tend to concentrate in zones visible from the entry point. In such spaces, female users also tend to polarize in zones visible from the entry. So that is the emergent grounded theory. Next. So the conclusions. The grounded theory methodology for analyzing qualitative data proved to be useful in the context of landscape behavioral studies. This led to formulation of theories which on one hand is contribution to the knowledge and on the other hand are design cues which can guide the designers to structure spaces for a particular use so that there is greater probability of desired use happening. Visual demonstration of patterns through the activity maps makes the study plausible for design of landscapes. So if you see the maps, you can easily make out that when a particular use is happening, you can easily make out. Now if you're designing a park and you know that one entry is only available for the park, you can anticipate that where the female users are likely to be. But if in a situation like India, for example, where the open spaces are at premium and they are shrinking day by day under the urban pressures, we would definitely not want to exclude a particular gender or a particular age group. So it's better that we actually design open spaces which are more inclusive and allow us better participation by all the users of the open spaces. So that is what I felt was important because this conference is on empirical theories, and in architecture, grounded theory methodology has proved useful. So I'm kind of reiterating what Christopher Alexander in 1977 had demonstrated through the pattern language. So I have come out with my own patterns based on the empirical data I found in my research. Thank you so much. The last slide is of the references. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Nathu. I will invite Dr. Mishra for his review. Just to mention, sir has to leave at 12:45, so we'll have him for this review possibly, not for the next one. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Abhijit, I must compliment you. It was a good work. Okay. I would like to know when this particular work was carried out. What is the year of the work?
Sir, it is a very old work in 2010s because you know why? It is based upon my own study, and secondly, but the patterns still hold good today also.
Okay. So now we are into a little bit more into the digital space. You must know that we are using the predictive modelings these days, and we are using the BEAM and digital twin. Okay, and for this particular human interfaces, okay, we are using it, and I believe that to take it forward, I suggest you to go to the BIM and digital twin to first understand how it will be affecting the people, then have a walkthrough, then please emulate that in all your future studies. Okay, I can understand this was the old work that has been done, because nowadays all the works are on the predictive modeling that is happening. And second thing is that responsive environment can be done with the Internet of Things, application of IoTs, okay, HVAC loads, lighting, and some of the security protocols also affect. So whatever we have done about the seating, occupancy, all those things, I believe we have to suggest that what is the timing that you have taken. Mostly I could see the day timings were taken. So evenings and night were not there in that particular scope. Okay. I could see that whether it is a weekend or weekday, I don't know. That also it was not mentioned. If it is a weekend, then footfall will be more. If it is a weekdays, then footfall will be less. So we have to understand that these things are all kind of responsive environments can be done through the IoT and sensor studies also. Okay, we have already started doing that. We have done it for the Hyderabad Metro, where the Hyderabad Metro has built a park nearby, and we have done that particular analysis of responsive environment, that what kind of park it should be, whether we should have an open gym or it should be a children's park or it should be a elder park. We did a study for them and we submitted to them. It was a consultancy that we got it. So I must tell you that a lot of digital tools are available, sir. Okay, please use them at your discretion, and I'm sure that you can foresee them properly and you can take it forward. And I could see that this particular work is a little older one. Nowadays, we can easily integrate this into the digital twin. However, this particular work is a cutting edge work that has been done by you after a long time, probably in my Delhi University days from 2000 till 2025 or 26 to year. 26 years after a long time, I'm coming across a grounded theory approach, but suddenly I could able to connect it because we very recently we have done similar kind of work for the Hyderabad Metro in the phase 2 expansions. Okay, and so please kindly align it to some kind of work that is happening over there in Pune. Some of the what I can say, some of the works of the metro or something, and when they are coming up some kind of community kind of services where this kind of approach can be really aligned, and you can see that how best this can be used. And scope can be little improved or encouraged. I encourage you to improve the scope. You should take weekends, weekdays. You should take the affordable housing segment also. People are staying in the suburbs or people are staying in the downtown. That particular thing also should be taken into the survey scope. And finally, India vis-a-vis other countries also, we should have the behavioral pattern. Then probably we can reach to a conclusively that this is what the result of this. So the chi-square test can be properly done. Okay. However, this is really a good work that has been done, and I compliment Dr. Avijit for this. I just want that it should be aligned with the digital twin and BIM. Okay. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Dakshan.
Yeah, I'll be very quick. Namaste, Nathu sir, Dr. Nathu. It was a treat to watch this presentation. Fantastic grounded theory approach, and I'm sure it was so enlightening to the students, researchers who are present in this room. Definitely an eye-opener for future research. I at least enjoyed it thoroughly. The only query I had was, did you start with the hypothesis or not?
Well, there was a non-directional hypothesis because it was not typically, it was inductive. So my overriding hypothesis was that there is an association between physical characteristics and use. That was a non-directional one. Because when you have deductive theory or deductive then directional approach, it was the association which was hypothesized. That's all.
Okay, that perfectly answers my question and very apt for the grounded theory deductive approach. I thank you so much for sharing your research here. Absolutely nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra, and thank you, Dr. Deshani, for the comments. Thank you, Dr. Nathu sir, for the presentation. I guess Mr. Mishra, possibly if we'll be actually happy if you can join for the next presentation also. We'll have it started as long as he's there. I think he can just review it. Thank you. Next presentation by architect Rayan Mehta on the topic of from prompting to practice, 3A2P as a benchmarking framework for AI workflows in small residential architecture. Over to you, Architect Priyan.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. And thank you, Alana, for doing NCET once again after 6 years. I'm very glad that this happened because I was also a participant 6 years back as well. And yeah, it is a great platform for researchers and practitioners like me who keeps on doing research and always trying to find certain platforms. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you jury members in advance. I think Mishra sir is not going to be there till then, but I hope he's able to, so that I can get more feedback from him as well. With that said, yes, can you go to the next slide? So unlike most of the people who have been presenting here, I have had 10 years of experience in teaching, much less than a lot of, I'm not a doctor yet. I will be pursuing that soon. I've taught in a lot of university. I have conducted many workshops. I have published 7 papers, 3 internationally and 5 nationally, in all of which the central theme always has been about technology, architecture, education, and design. And I have been invested in AI since 2019, way before the ChatGPT and AI boom for common people. So that's a very brief introduction about myself. I call myself a creative journalist because I handle everything from architecture to graphic design to movie making. And yeah, that's a very quick introduction about myself. Can you go to the next? The current problem with AI, especially within the frame of architectural practice, is there are 3 things because of which architects are not able to use the current models, or rather are afraid or skeptical about using them. A, they are usually getting inconsistent results. B, they usually find a lot of wastage of time behind doing trial and errors. And C, they somehow have a preconception that because they will be using AI tools and workflows, they will lose the creative control. And these observations and this understanding comes from talking to more than 50 architecture practices professionals around the globe in this last 7 years, because again, I have been actively participating in this discourse. Can you go to the next slide? Since 2016, that is since the time I have graduated, I have had this dream as to how can we automate the architectural practices. And the core reason behind it has been that the current housing demand and the current infrastructural demand requires at least 10 to 20 fold increase in number of architects which comes out as practicing architects, or there needs to be at least 10 to 20x effective productivity gains within the workflows which we use, which means that ideally, given to I would say to fulfill the criteria of making 1 house a month, we need at least either more architects, or we need our practices or workflows to be much more efficient. So that's how the dream started. Can you go to the next slide? In 2023, way before people started talking about agentic AI workflows, I wrote my first international paper on this topic, and it got published in a Scopus journal, which was titled From Client Brief to 3D Printing Construction, where I had laid down a schematic diagram which suggests how can we utilize agentic AI models, which can do specific narrow tasks guided under supervision of a broader generalist AI model. So that is the agentic workflow in the nutshell, and that this paper was all about. And why I'm mentioning these 2 things before starting and going into this particular paper is because it's not just from a practitioner's perspective. I'm also coming from an education and a research perspective as to why we require such benchmarks and frameworks. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. If we can play this video. So my vision has been an architect meets the client, and within 1 hour, using that architect's creative freedom, alongside clients' requirements, we can grow from concept to execution within a framework of 1 hour. Is it optimistic? Is it way too ahead in the future? Maybe, maybe not. But this snapshot video is important to keep this thing in mind, the way things are progressing today. I think Sir mentioned IoT and predictive models and a lot of other aspects in the last paper, and that is very correct. And that's the part we are going forward to. Next slide, please. Okay, so 3A 2P framework came out of a lot of research where what was happening in the market is all the AI companies, they focus mostly on the generalistic frameworks or benchmarks. So what they will usually do is they will release a new model, a new tool, and they will have a generalistic approach when it comes to benchmarking in understanding the intelligence of the models. And the other major part what they do is they showcase how good they are in terms of coding and programming, because these two are the most common ways people perceive AI models. And there is a big gap in the market where we do not have benchmarking systems which informs practitioners, researchers, and educators as to how do I judge an AI model is going to help me or not. It's fine if that model is intelligent by itself in a generic manner, but is that model intelligent enough in an architectural perspective? So that was the beginning of this venture, which I started, I would say, in December 2025. So obviously I'm going to mention certain limitations after this, but then it started in December 2025 and this took a month. There are a few things to consider. There were 3 conditions which were taken: C0, that is traditional workflows; C1, vanilla AI or naked AI prompting, where the prompt structure is very generic, is very loose, which is what usually people apply. And there is C2, that is a structured formats for the prompting, which was applied to see what is the difference between productivity gains and the amount of task it is able to finish. Then the next step was stage indicators. There were 4 stages identified from, again, anecdotal understanding as well as empirical research as to what are the stages which impact architectural practices the most in terms of monetary sides as well as amount of time it takes for them to finish a project. So concept, design, visualization, and execution. So the entire benchmark is revolving around these 4 pillars. Then we go to the scoring rubric. The scoring was done on 3 particular aspects: readiness, how production ready this particular model is for this particular stage; context stability, is it able to hold the architectural context which was given beforehand; and reliability. If I am coming today and giving it a prompt, or if I'm using a tool today, how reliable is it after tomorrow or after 6 hours, and so on and so forth. So these 3 scoring rubric parameters were taken into consideration. And the last important aspect is creative delta. I don't want, and I never see architect out of the picture when we talk about AI. I see that AI will help enable architects to grab the creative time back so that we can focus more on creative tasks rather than more repetitive tasks. So I try to identify the creative delta in number of hours saved in terms of each of the methods and the stages. Next, please. Yeah, I think I have already mentioned this. Next. There are definitely certain limitations and which are very critical to identify before going inside. These tests were done, the benchmarking was done by the end of January 2026. Already I have started doing another benchmark, which is ongoing process. But because we have to understand that the AI models change and evolve so fast that every 1 month or 2 months, we need these types of benchmarks. So this benchmark ideally is a groundwork which I wanted to lay down, which would invite more researchers, more educators, and more professionals to contribute to this framework and help our fraternity to use AI models the best manner possible, which leads to the second limitation. This was a single architect reviewed process. There was no blind review. There was no inter-rater availability or reliability in this case. The outputs and the research reviews may contain biases or unverified assumptions. The cost models or the amount of money architectural firms will save if they use these tools is dependent and it's context sensitive based on the firm size, the location, the project mix, etc. So of course, and last one is this was strictly done from a perspective of a small architectural firm doing an independent housing project. So independent housing project, when I say that, what I mean is single dwellings, bungalows, tenements, row houses, etc. This is not yet to be extrapolated for mass housing or urban infrastructure or any type of other projects. So these are the few limitations. Can we go to the next? These are the three most important key takeaways which we can take today, which came out of this benchmarks. A, there were 20 to 50% efficiency gains when a structured prompting system was used. In this case, my own system, but doesn't really matter. I have discussed this thoroughly in the paper. An architectural firm, especially a smaller architectural firm, can save at least around 5 lakhs rupees per year, and the turnaround time for a residential project for a small architectural firm can be taken down to 5 days. That is from concept, that is client brief, to till the execution stage. This is not post execution or within the execution. This is till execution stage. That is draft construction drawings stage. Next, please. So here are some key findings where we can discuss in details. As we can see, the client pitch, the concept, and the execution stages are the stages which are going to gain the most efficiencies when it comes to using AI, because these are more language and reasoning based. When it comes to design, we still are not there yet. So when this says 30 and 65, it is in comparison with itself. So when we say 30% production level, when we say just using simple prompts, and when it says 65% production level, it still means that we still have almost 40 to 50% gap when it comes to design stage while using AI in practice. Can we go to the next stage, please? Right. So here is where I break down the tool costs. And again, this is as per the data available at that point in time. The credits price may increase, the software prices may go up and down, but this is a very aerial viewpoint about the same. CAD softwares usually cost around 75,000 per year, whereas the new age AI tools cost around 22,000. Here I have considered same number of seats for each of them. 3D modeling software costs 35,000, whereas when we're using AI 3D modeling software tools, it's costing 15,000. BIM tool costs more than 1 lakh, whereas new BIM AI integrated BIM tools cost around 35,000. Rendering costs 70,000 or more, whereas when using AI workflows, it is 12,000 or more. Can we go to the next? And this is an overview about how many number of hours can we really save while using AI tools, the current SOTA models. So when it comes to conceptual development, it is a big jump from 25 to 2 hours. When it comes to client pitch, that is the biggest gain from 160 hours to 6 hours. When it comes to design stage, the gap is still big, but still not big enough, 24 to 160, because the risks are always there. And when it comes to management, again, it's from 40 to 8 hours. Can we go to the next slide? But then again, the question always arises, what does it look like in practice? Next, please. So when it comes to the conceptual stage, conversation to conceptual stage, what's going to happen? We take a client conversation, we may record it, we may write notes, however we want to take that. And that translates into contract, inspiration, design program, and references and case studies. So all of these things happens by itself. Of course, at any point of time, an architect can come inside the picture and give his or her own references or his or her own inspiration and sketches. But we all know that in real practices, most of the time architectural firms do not have time or resources to give their creative inputs. It's usually mechanical. Can we go to the next slide? Concept. Once we have a concept, the architects usually have this 4 deliverables: renderings they need to give to the client, pitch decks which they need to give to the client, drawings, and walkthroughs. Now, these are the most, I would say, important aspects when it comes to getting a project approved. And it takes a lot of time and resources, which is where AI can help greatly. Can we go to the next slide, please? And the last part is the management, sales, and execution. So when it comes to AI, it can not only make sure that it understands different types of charts, it can take real-time feedbacks and data and give you insights real time. But it also, again, it is very good with predictive data analysis. It is able to understand the patterns which is already happening on the site while the construction is going on, and then hence by give you insights and actionables which an architect can take. Next, please. At the end of the day, these are the 5 tools which, if somebody wants to start utilizing in their practices, it would help them the most. Grok is an LLM just like ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a widely known tool. It is a reasoning language-based chatbot. Similarly, Grok is the same thing, owned by Elon Musk. It is not widely used in India, especially for a lot of reasons. First is marketing. But Grok has proven over and over in all the tests to be the best AI tool and agent. Second, when it comes to images, again, this is pre-today, that is, this is till January 2026. For when it comes to images, rendering, and walkthroughs, Google's tool sets, Gemini, Nano Banana, VO3 models, etc., they provide the best tools indeed. When it comes to concept drafting and 2D drawings, Rayon.design is a tool which has already started replacing AutoCAD in a lot of practices outside India. In India, it's going to take time. Next, we have 2 other contenders when it comes to 3D, that is 3D conceptual massing drawings, and beam integration is Hyper. And then we have SnapTrue, which is again for 3D concept, BIM, and 3D to drawing translation. So this is the tool set which we can say is the most, or rather the best tool set you can have today. Again, not today, because we have really good tools right now which have already started replacing this, but yes, till today. So can we go to the next slide? Okay, before I conclude this short presentation of the research, I would really like to, approach this from a perspective that this was not a funded research. This was not, so the biasness towards going towards certain tool sets was not present. A biasness for going towards a certain outcome was not present. This research was first and foremost done because I really believe that research can bridge the gap between education, that is theory, and practice. And because I have been an advocate of AI and smart tools and technology, I really wanted to put this into stress test before I start advocating about it to any practicing architects, because the stakes are real. And that's why I did this research, and the platform just happened to be the NCERT, and I'm very glad it just happened at this time, and then I had submitted this paper for that. But yeah, thank you for your time, and please.
Thank you, Architect Prayan Mehta. I would like to invite Dr. Dakshinayani Patil, please, for the review.
Okay, thank you, Prachi. Prayan, very excellent presentation, very contemporary, empirically grounded, and most appealing to our young crowd who might be present here watching this. Fantastic overall. What I can say, I also learned a lot of things from what you've given. Just one question, I don't know if it is valid, you can take a call. You have established this structured benchmarking framework with 1 to 10 scoring rubric. Could you explain very briefly how the scoring was operationalized and validated also? Because you report 31% improvement in production readiness, which was not simply a result of the subjective evaluatory judgment, if I'm not wrong.
Correct. So
So how?
really good question, I would say. And because of having
The question
so much
is
data,
good because your presentation was good.
I'm really
And it
glad.
was
Thank
very
you.
clear also. So
Thank you. I'm really glad that it came across like
Yeah.
that, because it's very important that the new topic needs to be taken into the discourses.
yes.
Okay, when it comes to the 3 scoring rubric perspectives, when the readiness, production readiness scale was taken into consideration, the biggest factor taken inside the, I would say, the subjective prerogative was how readily can this output which I get can be taken into production. That means if I'm getting an output from in the conceptual stage, let's say a sketch, is this sketch something I can use today to make an architectural drawing out of it? So yes, if there may be a little bit of subjective biasness, but then when I'm rating it from 1:10, I'm always trying to compare it with my own sketches if I would have done it without the use of AI, right? So that kind of give me a balance in the sense that, okay, if this is a sketch, not mine, this is a sketch of mine, how ready they are to help me translate that into a drawing. Similarly, for other stages, for example, if a walkthrough is an output product, is this walkthrough shareable with the client as of today, as of this second, without editing or doing anything to it? So that is the production readiness score. And it was initially 1 to 100, but then for ease of data, normalization and everything, it was done from 1:10. I hope I was
Yeah,
able to
yes,
talk.
got it. Clear. But of course, the saved time that you mentioned, and how do we actually convert it qualitatively, quantitatively? We said we increase the creative output during the
Correct.
saved time, but will there be a measurable attribute to that? Then it would justify the research more empirically.
Right. So in this current, I would say, scope, the idea was to at least first inform the fraternity in the sense that, okay, this is the amount of time which we can save, first of all. And given that India is a country which is very economics oriented, alongside time, it was also the economics, the unit economics was also measured. So now when we say that, okay, the project is going to cost less and I can have more profit margin, and given that I have, let's say I only had 1 hour to work on a concept before, using this AI tools, using the same amount of labor, now I can, have 5 hours of conceptual drawings, 5 hours into concept, where I can brainstorm, sketch, actually, so the notion is AI takes away the process. I would say AI gives you the process back, so that now you can take control of each and every step where actual human intervention is required and not where it's not required. So that is how I put the creative delta. That is number of hours saved and kept with you, which you as an architect now can decide, I want to spend them in getting sales or put it behind this creative output as well.
Okay. Probably that will need a little justification on how we use that saved time. Empirically, I mean.
Definitely.
But wonderful. All the best and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Datyani ma'am. Dr. Mishra is here. He has already reviewed your paper. He's gone through it. So even if he's missed the presentation, I'm sure he'll be able to continue. Thank you, sir.
Prayan, I've gone through your paper. In fact, I'm the person probably I reviewed your paper. Okay. It is my bad that I could not be present. I had a just very quick discussion with my officers, so I had to go. But certainly, I know the content. I wanted to meet you even on this particular virtual platform. So, what are the things that you're using? I would like to know precisely what are the tools in the AI you are using, because we are probably already we have been using it for quite a long time at NICMAR. We have dedicated labs are there. Okay, now I would like to know that these are all 3D concept BIM, and you are familiar with the Revit. You are familiar, and you have done some kind of Navisworks are also at your end. You have the familiarity with the Navisworks, and you do your what is the platform you used? LOD 300, 400, 500. Which kind of BIM design you have been using so far? We have experimented up to 70 BIM.
Okay.
So I want to know that also.
Got it. So first of all, thank you. I'm really glad that you like the paper and the notions behind it. And coming to your questions, see, I would say it depends on the project type, right? So currently what's happening is the amount of work which goes towards is lesser BIM. It's more pre-design. So current tool set, if I were to judge, not this one, now beyond this is Grok, Claude, alongside Rayon Design, definitely. Now we have ChatGPT's image generation, which is very good. We have Sedans 2.5, by which, so the video clip which I had put in the presentation.
I'll be sharing something to Prachi, and probably Prachi will share it to you.
Sure.
We have done the ranking of the different AI tools from 1 to 10, and it is on the user preferences. We have done it by taking a sample size of 10,000 plus. Okay. And I'm sure in that you'll be surprised to know which are figuring in the 1 to 5. We may probably, most of the people may not be knowing their names. Okay, that's what I can tell you. Okay, so that's great. We are actually doing a lot of work into this. Now, when you are talking, digital twin has been tried by your end also. Digital twin you have tried?
Yes. So one of the papers I had published was about metaverse and digital twin cities. Yes.
Yeah. Where you have tried exactly digital twin? What have done? Any kind of urban infrastructure project, or where exactly?
No, unfortunately, as a practitioner, I have not been able to work on the project itself, but I have been involved in the research and the design of the tools themselves. So I have been a chief solution strategist of a platform called Randapup, which is a startup in India.
Okay.
And yeah, so I have helped them develop the tool so that it can help architects better. Because most of the time what's happening is tools are based and created from a developer's point of view, not from an architect's point of view. So yeah, so there have been inside the dialogues, but I have not actively worked from a project perspective.
Okay, now again, one more URL I'll be sharing the Prachi one YouTube video where the Amravati, not Maharashtra Amravati of Andhra Pradesh, okay, right, where the new capital city is coming up. That is the Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority, who is doing the new capital city of Amravati at the investment of only $20 billion. Okay, that is 2 lakh crores, one city, which is having around 150 square kilometer originally conceived and designed. Now it has been grown to the 450 square kilometer. It's going to a big city, and the complete BIM and what is that called? We have advised one of the Clove Technologies is the company name, who is the BIM provider, and everything is in the digital twin. Okay, I would suggest all the practitioners to go through that and see that how immersive the digital twin experience can be. Correct. Okay, what we are seeing nowadays, the traditional things in the architectures, okay, it is very much there in the thinking mindset. But the scale at which, if the Chandrababu Naidu wants to do the city within 3 years, then suddenly we have to go for the digital twins. Okay, I must tell you that. Okay, I suggest you to upgrade all these ideas. Okay, have some live ideas. I've already invited the people across the Alana College that you can always plan and have a visit here, because when you talk about Hyderabad, okay, we talk about digital technologies. I must tell you that. And when I talk about my profile of the students, probably 35 to 40% of the students are from the architecture background. Okay. Right. So digital construction is the way forward. There's no doubt about that. And certainly the 2D, 3D, whatever BIM or estimates LOD 400 you are using, you please continue to use that. Certify yourself. These are very, I saw the paper, it was interesting because it was in a very conceptual stage and we need to take it further. Okay, that's why I thought that I should be going through that. But certainly, the lot of work needs to be done in your paper. That's what I can tell you. And have some real-time data embedded into that. Okay, and lot of real-time works have been done already. It is not that it is not available. Okay, so I suggest you.
I think there was a timeout in the meeting.
No, it just got completely disconnected for all of us.
Right.
So sorry about that.
That's okay. Happens. Technology.
Yes, sir. So sorry about that. It just got disconnected for all of us completely. You're on mute, sir.
It's absolutely okay. And integrate with the AR, VR, and XR. That is important. Okay.
Correct.
Because some kind of work needs to be done with the integration of AR, VR, and XR.
Mhm.
And we have a dedicated lab over here. I request all the faculties, whenever you have the time, please visit us. Okay, we have dedicated lab. Okay, and we are having the drone-based survey, which is required for all
LiDAR-based.
kind of urban planning, design, and immersive architecture. We have that drone-based survey system. Okay, where we can easily take it elevated. Okay, you give me a plot of the land, I will survey it with the help of the drone. Image is captured, and then on that particular image, okay, I will start doing the landscaping, architecture, and everything. So it is the other way around now.
Mhm.
So that surveying itself was always critical and challenge. Now surveying things are available in first, and then you can do that. And it will be very conclusive, less time consuming, and it will empower all of you like anything. There is no doubt about that. Okay. So it is a good work. Okay. Continue to do this work. Very few people are using this. Rather, I can say that I don't know how many people are using it in the architecture domain, but we are using it day in, day out. I'm telling very frankly. Corporates are coming to us with a beeline that they want to have 5D, 6D, 7D BIM understand. They want to understand that because they are doing the metro projects, they are doing different kind of urban integrated urban infrastructure projects where they can save the time and ultimately the resources. The
Correct.
Nagpur Metro is a live example of the 5D BIM. You must know that. Okay. So that's how it comes. So please integrate with the large urban infrastructure projects. Okay. Take some of the help of the AR, VR, and XR kind of ideas and integrate them. Okay. And certainly you should be clear that what is the area in which you are allowed to play. So that
Right.
surveying part has to be integrated to that. Okay.
Correct.
Now it is very different, and you will be surprised to know that a lot of works are being done in this particular area, and we need to go faster and stronger. That is important. Thank you.
I'll just say one thing. So definitely what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I would say, especially when it comes to survey data, we have LiDAR technologies, Gaussian spreads, and a lot of things are happening. And when it comes to XR and VR, it's an amazing world out there right now. So the only thing was for me in this particular paper was the scope was very narrow. I just wanted to create something for practicing architects who can just start using it. But what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I have been doing research on that as well, and I think we should I would definitely get in touch with you, and yeah, we can definitely work more. I can contribute more toward this field, and yeah, I think thank you for your comments and feedback.
I must tell you that I was a part of the consultative committee of the revamping of the course of the couple of NITs and SPAs of the architecture program, which includes Vijayawada also. I was surprised to know that the digital interfaces were completely lacking. And in last 3-4 years post-COVID, you go and check any SPA syllabus, any kind of NIT syllabus, you will find we have fully loaded with all kind of digital interfaces, because that is going to be the way forward. That is the way forward. We have to acknowledge that, okay? We have to understand that.
And it is not so, I mean, I just want to say one thing, that I have seen this backslash with a lot of senior faculties where they feel if we use technology, we lose out on our own culture, Indian practices, but that's not the case. It just influences and makes it better, I would say. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this, for your feedback and this platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for a lovely discussion of the technical topics that were there. I would like you, if you have time, I would like you to address the architecture fraternity with the developments which you are already mentioning about the advancement of the digital.
It is my pleasure, entirely my pleasure, that I am addressing a very, very intelligent audience, okay? And probably I can say that I'm an accidental faculty, okay? And actually, because I hail from an army kind of background, okay? I was in the Indian Armed Forces for 7-8 years. Then after that, I've come to this. But certainly, training and teaching are not far away, okay? So I had been training the colonels and brigadiers of the Indian Army, and from there coming to this was certainly a very different kind of experience. I have studied from the University of Delhi, which has given me a complete comprehensive kind of understanding of the country as a whole, because I have probably been with the student masses, my peers, my juniors, all around 30 states which are currently there. So that has given me a scope to understand the country in a better way. And being from the cost management aspect, I know how the cost is very important, whatever project we do, how beautiful it may be, how surreal it may be, but ultimately the productivity will be emphatically be suggested that at what cost you have completed that project. That is the bottom line for everyone. There's no doubt about that. And there this particular digital construction comes into play. We at NICMAR, okay, and we being in Hyderabad, I believe one of the city which is very high on the IT kind of workforces, and being into this particular core engineering and architecture kind of students we have, till 2018, 17, 18, I can say the traditional constructions were on high, but obviously the rules of the engagements got changed after everyone witnessed the COVID-19. The COVID-19, that 1.5 year, when the works had to be done from different concepts came into play, whether it is work from home or away from work, there are many things happened, but suddenly work has to go on and the physical spaces needs to be built. And everyone realized that COVID was a turning time for all of us, and we understood that how the work can be done with the modern methods of construction. Now, with the AI kind of thing, I must tell you that if you give me a land size, if you give me a requirement, I can generate the architecture, I can generate the design, I can generate the internal, what I can say, all kind of interior, I can generate HVAC plan, I can generate the planning and scheduling, everything within 30 minutes. And as an organization, we are already having the Gemini Pro, that means advanced versions are there. We are already having Grok and Claude with us. These are all advanced versions. We are no more using the free versions at NICMAR. Let me tell you very frankly. We are having the accessibility of 2D, 3D estimates. We are having the accessibility of doing millions of square feet of estimates in some hours, which was earlier taking months' time. But let me tell you, this is the good thing, and this is a very interesting phase that we are entering into. When I'm talking about two things, I will tell that everyone needs to upskill, but upskilling will not happen till the time we don't do the outskilling. There are certain things are there in our mind which we need to forget. And you must know forgetting is the best thing that probably God has gifted us, which we are not using it prudently. We must start forgetting or unlearning. I will use the word unlearning those things which is now going or moving towards obsolescence. Our attachment and our being passionate that human thinking and critical thinkings are great. I'm telling you, yes, it will continue to be like this. Always the human thinking will be appreciated. However, these AI models are getting towards the maturity very soon. We may be using 0.001% of the large language models, what we are using. But as and when lot of users will be using the AIs, it will be matured in a time to come. The issues in the India and the issues in the US and European countries are completely different. We will continue to have the highest respect for the architects, designers, interior designers. It will continue to be like that because our scale is huge. We are having 140 crores of population. We should not be worried that the AI will be eating away the designer's job. It will not eat away. It will give you the empowered kind of features where you will be in a position to do it in a very shortest possible time. I must tell you, from 2023 onwards, we have been doing multiple projects with the multiple government and private entities. Very significantly, the Amaravati project of Vijayawada, which is nearby Vijayawada, where we are the knowledge partner in building that particular $20 billion city. $20 billion means per day. Invoicing is happening is 100 crores per day invoicing. You just look at the scale. And the timeline available with us is only 3 years. No architect, no civil engineer, no one can do this kind of job in 3 years unless you involve the digital interfaces. I must tell you that. And that's where we pitched in, and that's where we were brought in. That 3 years is the timeline. 200 lakhs crores is the amount that is going to spend, and it is one city only. And it all changed our perspectives that how the architects and civil engineers can do the work in tandem. I must tell you that. And they have to do it in such a way that the timeline being the constant known to us, that the next election is in 2028. So we have to complete the project that has come from the CM. CM has told to the minister. Minister has told to the commissioner. And we are reporting to a commissioner who is neither a civil engineer nor an architect. You must know that. He is not a civil engineer nor an architect. And he is leading from the front, the APCRDA. The only good thing is that he will always tell that I am an undergraduate. I have done my graduation, BTech in computer science, IIT Kanpur. And after that, immediately cracked the civil service. The guy with whom I was dealing, though he was not a civil engineer, neither an architect, but he was a computer science engineer. And that has actually changed all the games. He wanted that everything should be given to him in this particular phone, where we pitched in the Sistra, we pitched in the InCircle, we pitched in the Clove Technologies, we pitched in the R-Dash. These are the agencies we pitched in for different kind of services that they have to give. And you'll be surprised to know, first I had to figure out that if we have to achieve this particular scale of at least 80,000 crores of civil work, then what must be the minimum work or what must be the minimum invoicing that is to be done per day? And we found that 100 crores. If the per day invoicing is happening 100 crores, then the work is happening properly. And that's how commissioners started doing backward integration. If it is not happening, then where we are struck. And you should go through that particular YouTube video of the Amaravati, which is an architecture marvel. You must know that. All of you should see to that particular what the Sarbana Jurong has done. We have, and you'll be surprised to know, we have done their onboarding interviews before Sarbana Jurong were brought into the picture. I am sure you might have heard about the SJ Group. SJ Group is one of the best architectural agencies available in the world over. and SJ has given the fine print of the Amravati, okay, Sarvana Jurong. And you must know that SJ was brought into, and SJ being the architect firm, all the contractors, PMCs were reporting to the architect firm. There it shows how the architects are superior because they have conceived, they have designed, and all other things, they know how to get it done. So be it the 11 contractors, be it the 18 PMCs, be it the HVAC people, everyone was reporting to the Sarvana Jurong. That shows that how the concept matters. That shows that where the architect stands. Okay, because it is the vision that they have done one city without the city being built in physically. That's how they have done in that particular digital twin. And I suggest all of you to have hands-on practice on the digital twin to stay ahead in this particular architectural topography. Otherwise, I'm telling you, it is 4 or 5 years when we will be questioning that why we did not learn that. And it is not required that anyone who is not an architect also, they can learn digital twin. It is so user friendly. So we are giving this opportunity to learn design and architecture to everyone who is not a part of this field also, which is really good. I must tell you that. This is what probably we wanted to do, that it should reach to the lowest of the low, that they must have some idea and how it should be made user friendly. They have done it. And I must tell you that the things are, I'm just returning from the US. Again, I'm traveling to the Helsinki very shortly. And then from there, I'll be going to the Dublin. We are only into the modern methods of construction. I must tell you that. Okay. And the scale at which you can achieve those parameters, if you want to do that, then the way ahead is the 2D, 3D kind of digital interfaces. The BIM cannot be done from the right now. You have to do the Navis work. You have to start with the Navis work, then the BIM, then the models of the BIM, what kind of work you are taking up. So it is 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D BIM. You have to understand the way. And please get attached to the industry who are actually doing the real-time work. Please get attached to the bodies like your municipalities. We have the GHMC, which is doing a lot of work on the BIM, where the BIM practitioners are empaneled. Please get yourself empaneled for that. And you see to it that BIM is the next best thing that is going to happen. And last but not the least is that, please, let's get out of that particular resistance to change. We need to change. I was also not taught. I'm telling you, I come from a very diverse background where every day morning 4:30 I was waking up, okay? And schedule was completely different. From there coming to the finance, economics, then from there coming to the BIM. What not we are doing, and you'll be surprised to know diversity is going to be the key element which is going to define our future. So whatever we have done, it has given you some idea. It has got some idea to us. Rest everything we need to develop. And I'm telling you, the B design is passing through a very interesting phase. Very, very interesting phase with all kind of AI tools are available, with all kind of softwares are coming. And the market is flooded with the softwares. I must tell you that. And in this particular time, the best thing will stay. And you will find that among so many alternatives that we are getting right now, we will just come down to 2 alternatives, just like the Jio and Airtel now ruling. We will also come down to 2 or 3 alternates very soon. We have to wait for that. Please enjoy this particular phase. And the new students who are passing out from 2026 batch onwards, you must ensure that they are digitally trained and some certification is made so that they remain relevant. Unless they are getting into the teaching profession, the industry requirements have completely changed. The industry requirements, developer requirement, government requirements, you'll be surprised to know very shortly we did that particular one redevelopment project of the Guwahati railway station platform where the BIM file has to be submitted. That was the tender condition, that the BIM file had to be submitted. How many architectures can submit the BIM file? That itself is question right now. So please, all of us, let's resolve that we are going to adapt to this particular digital environment. And anywhere, anytime we believe anything that we can do as an education institute, we are always ready to collaborate. And every odd person who is passing the BR or or whatever, they should have minimum 40 hours in training before they pass out from the institution. That's what I can tell you. Thank you so much for the giving me this particular opportunity. I'm very sorry that for 10 minutes I was away, but still I could make it that what must be the discussion. And let's collaborate with each other and let's empower each other. With that, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable time. And actually, we do realize that we are at the crossroads where we have to choose this way or that way, which is more going ahead towards the technology. And what you said was also very important, that all this has to now seep into the academics. So it just cannot start off after your architecture degree, architecture registration. It has to start at the first and second year level of architecture itself for people to be prepared, as sir is also mentioning, after graduation, to put them into the industry, be prepared for the industry. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time in such a busy schedule, for even reviewing the papers. Whenever we would send, you would immediately in a day's time send it back. It's a lot of, I would say, interest and the contribution shown towards the architecture fraternity also. When the papers, you did mention that you probably will not be able to, what will you do in an architecture conference? But yes, sir, this is where it is. I mean, your opinion really matters. Whatever you said is quite meaningful for us. To have it heard from a non-architect also is very important to know how further the whole line is going to go. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And everyone is becoming multidisciplinary and cross skilling is important. So let's cross skill and empower each other. That is the next best possibility that each one of us can do that. Let's come out of that particular year and let's cross skill each other. I believe that is where we will be finding each other more empowered. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
May I invite Dr. Dakshayani Patil to conclude the day's session, please?
I think it was a great session going through all the 5 papers for me. And I think Sir has already concluded with a nice thing. We have to come out of our silos, nutshells, and be more eager to learn across disciplines and not shy away from technology or AI. I think that is what we learn being in academics, and we are doing that actually. Grassroots level, beginning at academics is very important. Awareness on all these things, and I'm sure all of us are doing that under the umbrella of Council of Architecture. Very wonderfully done. And a nice conference. Happy to be here and best wishes. Congratulations to the organizers and the participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We thank all jury members and review committee for their time and for being a part of our conference, supporting us, encouraging us to make this a meaningful event. A last concluding acknowledging presentation from our side, just to go through and understand who all contributed for the NCAT. Sorry, ma'am, you can just have the presentation. Since we are meeting online, we thought we will just have certain slides with the pictures where we can understand and know each other. Our convener, Professor Leena Debnath ma'am, who is also the Dean and of Faculty of Architecture and Design and Principal of Alana College of Architecture. Myself, Prachi Iyer, Head of Department of Masters in Project Management and Entrepreneurship at Alana College of Architecture, and Professor Dhwani Yagnik, Associate Professor and Academic Coordinator. Our chief guest, Mrs. Abida Inandar, Chancellor of Dr. P. Nanda University and President of Maharashtra Cosmopolitan Education Society. Keynote speaker and jury member yesterday, where we had the offline presentations, Dr. Vasudha Gokhale, Professor, Dr. B.N. Nanavati College of Architecture for Women, a person who brought research into picture for Pune colleges. Dr. Manas Marathe, Professor at School of Architecture and Planning, Nikmar University, Pune campus, was there yesterday with us. Keynote speaker and junior member for the online session today, Dr. Dakshayani Patil, Professor and Academic Research Lead at BMS College of Architecture, Design and Planning, Bengaluru. Along with Technical Review Committee member and jury member, Dr. Fatima Kabir, Professor at Rizvi College of Architecture, Mumbai. Dr. Sarbesh Mishra, jury member and technical committee member, Professor and Dean, School of Executive Education and Industry Relations, Nikmar University, Hyderabad. Other technical review committee members who reviewed the papers, Dr. Supriya Nene, Dean at School of Architecture Planning, Nikmar University, Pune. Dr. Parag Narkhede, Head of Department, BKPS College of Architecture, Pune. Professor Shilpa Dhawale, Associate Professor with our college, Alana College of Architecture. Professor Gayatri Mahajan, Assistant Professor at Symbiosis School of Architecture and Urban Development and Planning, Pune. Yes. Thank you so much. I would invite our principal, Professor Leena Devnath, to extend a vote of their thanks and conclude the session. Please conclude the conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Am I heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, what a session it was. I think while seeing a movie, you reach the climax, and with what Dr. Sarvesh Mishra had been saying, it was quite an eye opener, and the reality and truth brought in front of us. It was very helpful, and it was good to know. So, thank you, Dakshayani ma'am, for being there, giving your time, one whole half day, and spending your time with us, giving your valuable inputs. Dr. Sarvesh Mishra, thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs. Thank you all the participants. Some are here today, some have already been there yesterday. So for sharing your papers and for looking for inputs, which I guess you're happy with whatever is suggested to you, and all best wishes so that you can keep on working on your paper and fill up the gaps that have been mentioned to you. Thank you, the reviewers who have reviewed all the papers and given their inputs also. The reviewers, as Prachi ma'am has mentioned, were very fast and prompt, so that has helped us a lot. Thank you, the co-conveners, Professor Prachi Iyer and Professor Dhwani Yagnik. They had been constantly, I think, all the working hours for the last 1 week, they were constantly at it. And what we got in the end is quite commendable. Thank you so much. Thank all my team members of all the teaching faculty and non-teaching who might not have contributed academically, but entire show yesterday for offline was really very well organized and managed. Thanks to all of you. Thanks the university because they help us collaborate with PERA, and so this we got some financial help, and that was a good start for us. And last but not the least, our management, who is always there to support us, Mrs. Abeda Inamdar, the Chancellor and also the President of MCS. She always encourages us, and thanks to all the management for it. I hope to see you all, Dakshani ma'am, Sarvesh Mishra sir, somewhere, sometime, and maybe we will keep having national conferences, which this is our second one. We hope to do it more, and we will be happy if you contribute again to our conferences. Thank you so much.
And everyone is welcome to Hyderabad. We have all facilities with us. Okay. We have accommodation facilities, training facilities. It is a full-fledged university. Everyone, anyone who is coming to Hyderabad, the invitation remains. And Prachi is already having my contact coordinates. Okay. Anytime you want to come alone, you are coming with the students, you want to have a BIM training, you want to have AR, VR, or survey copter, everything we have. We have everything. You should see to it how the digital interface is used. Then you will be excited. That's for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The conference is successfully concluded, leaving us inspired, deeply connected, and equipped with fresh insights for the research journey ahead. Hope to see you all again in the next event. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Professor Leena and team. It was wonderful. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Ma'am, I'll end the meet.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll just close the meet, ma'am. Yeah.
All right.
Close it.